My bad, y'all. My bad, y'all. I forgot what time it was. I was upstairs doing something else. And I was upstairs with my laptop. And I'm down here on my hold on, this Unc calling me, y'all. Hold on. Give me a second, y'all. My bad, y'all. That was Unc and the pseudo killers. I guess they ain't see I was live, but they was like, man, you supposed to have been live at 8. There's people in there waiting for y'all. My bad. I apologize. But get on in here, hit that like button. We about to go in. I'm gonna do something different tonight. I'm gonna go over the things that we talked about on Smash Show earlier or for the last 2 days. I think I got some fire for them. I held my tongue today, and I held it for a reason, right? So we gonna see. And my man Asar M. Ket, I had to go chase down his source that he used. So since he chased down that source, since he showed his Budge source, I had to go chase it down. And I'm gonna compare Budge source with mine, and we gonna see where we at. But anyway, get on in here, hit that like button. You know what time it is. Pseudo killer time. We about to kill some pseudos, right? And it's not just about killing pseudos. It's about preventing the next generation of pseudos, right? So pseudo killers got 2 jobs to do. 3. I'm going to say 3. Pseudo killers, we got 3 jobs to do, right? The first job is to kill the pseudos that's among us. The second job is to prevent the next generation of pseudos. And the third job is to pull current pseudos out of their pseudo positions. All right? Is y'all with me? Is y'all with me? Is y'all with me? I'm going to start repeating things 3 times like my man, what's the dude name? The Run Me My Donations dude. But anywho, we're going to go through some of my readings, and we're going to see how I draw my conclusions and where I get most of my information from, right? So we're going to do that, but let me switch the look of everything up. What's going on, Mitch? I'm going to speak to everybody in a minute, but just get in here, hit that like button. Y'all know what it is. Where the mods at? Get on top of these dudes here. Make them hit that like button because we're going to get into some information tonight, the way pseudo killers do it, but we're going to switch. We're going to get into some of my readings. And we're going to do it. So let me switch because I still got the old stuff from Sunday still on the screen. So let me get that stuff off. And while I get that stuff off and start the Zoom for the pseudo killers, I need y'all to congregate amongst yourselves, right? Speak to each other, see how everybody is doing, and let's get the show started. Hold on, let me put a timer. Hold on, let me switch to this first. Let me switch to this. All right. Boom. Let's put a timer on the Gemma Janker. All right. Let's put him on Mike Tyson. Let's put time on Mike Tyson. Boom. And let's go. Get on in here, hit that like button, y'all. Pseudo killers going in tonight.
What it is, though. Take your all on a journey. Notorious is glorious, victorious. Yeah, yo. I ain't asking for a friend, I need to know myself. And if you never ask, how would you know yourself? It's crazy how your parents know you more than you know yourself. Growth is good, it's important just to know your wealth. Don't let them take advantage like niggas who speak Spanish and you don't speak a lick of it. The game will make you trip a bit. Street money is cool till you get sick of it. And all that bullshit that come along with it. Make sure you stay on your square and keep a strong pivot. Cause them cruddy buddies, they'll do you ugly. And why every female favorite question is, do you love me? And if you knew better, baby, you would do better. And once you know better, you would show better. Most men want a housewife, but me, I love a go-getter. Your ex pussy wet, but that new pussy be so wetter. No lies detected, just get high and accept it. Go ahead, talk to him, y'all ain't beefing like that. Come on, Doug, why you being like that? Man, let's keep it a stack. Why you say it if you ain't mean it like that? And when you say him, you ain't give him no rap. Man, let's keep it a stack. You ain't gotta say you gon' be right back. Stop bluffing, shorty, keep it a stack. Once you start something, can't just leave it like that. Finish the job, homie, keep it a stack. When I was coke dealing, the rules was no squealing, no stealing from your mans and no feelings. For these hoes, that's just gonna mess up the guap. 10 toes down whenever you on your block, or even when you ain't. Don't know them from a can of paint. Just be loyal and trustworthy, you ain't gotta be a saint. A lot of y'all be geeking, backstabbing and sneaking. Nose clean during the week, but they dabble on weekends. Oh nigga, I be peeping. Your niggas might be sleeping, but I was trained to tread water in the deep end. Jellyfish sting, but them sharks will bite your head off. Run up on you while you park, get the dumping, then they slid off. The hood know who did it, now let's see if your homies with it. Or your name die in vain, cause one of your homies did it. Ain't no reason to kill your man over a kilogram. How you thinking y'all fam, then spin you like a ceiling fan. Go ahead, talk to him, y'all ain't beefing like that. Come on, Doug, why you being like that? Let's keep it a stack. Why you say it if you ain't mean it like that? And when you see him, you ain't give him no rap. But let's keep it a stack. You ain't gotta tell me you gon' be right back. Stop bluffing, shorty, keep it a stack. And once you start something, can't just leave it like that. Finish the job, homie, keep it a stack. While I'm still rapping at 40, well, let's chat about it. First of all, my life's amazing. Let's get that about it. Wife is blazing, and her kids get the life savings. Follow the drip, nigga, my eyes glazing. Yo, FSO, in the best that flow. Bars, storytelling, visuals, cadence and concepts, content, impact. Yeah, the boxes is all checked. I just need that one song. Yeah, that one song. And I could clutch the earth with just one palm. Never inches, look in my eyes, I'm dumb calm. They either go and walk with you, or you gon' run for them. Either way, you gon' have to let your heater spray. Lose yourself, might even have to put that weed away. Now that's a lotto, that's my medication. Gotta stay high, yo, till a nigga die, yo. Album out now, hit the link in my bio.
Boom, let's go.
Talk to him, you ain't beefing like that. Come on, Doug, why you beefing like that?
What it do, everybody? Pseudo Killers is in the building. Pseudo Killers is in the building. I hope everybody is having an awesome day today. I know I am. But without further ado, I think I just want to jump right into it. So, but hold on. Let me speak to everybody. All right. We ready. All right. So who we got in here? This thing moving fast. Juju, what it do? Nomadic. Oh, let me get my mic right. Nomadic, I need my glasses, y'all. I'm sorry. Nomadic, what it do? What's going on? Mike Walker, Mr. Gary Hart, what's going on, bro? CJ, Mika, T, what's up, man? Y'all is in here. Haskell. Flavor, the plug, what it do? Yeah. APEP, what's going on? Mitch, what it do? Mika One, yeah. Everybody in here. Cedric, my man Mike, Jeremiah Judah, JJ 7000 is in the building. Shout out to all of the Hebrews. I see y'all out there doing what y'all doing. You said Garfield running from. Yeah. All y'all beautiful people. All right. So what I want to do tonight. Hold on. Let me get the Zoom. Yo, why wouldn't I get the Zoom link going? That's crazy. Let me get the Zoom link going, man. I'm geeking. All right. All right. Boom. Boom. All right, got the Zoom up. Let me make sure they can share. See, I got to do all these things. I got to make sure they can share their screens and everything before I even send them the link. All right. But, all right. So what we want to do tonight is, my plan for tonight is, well, let's just go over there. Let's go over there. Let's see what we got. Where's my iPad? Let's go over here to the pseudo killer iPad and see what we're going to do. Now, these are my books. Now, don't judge me, y'all. I know y'all can see a lot of the stuff, you know, is new and I haven't read it. You know what I mean? Boom, boom, boom. I got a lot of books that I didn't read yet. I know. I could do better. We all can do better, right? We all can do better. But, we was having a discussion. The blues is books. Now look, that blue tab that say new, whenever y'all see that, that means that's a book that I didn't even open yet. Right? I know. Horrible. They always saying I ain't reading enough. But so y'all see a lot of blues, right? Stuff I ain't even, you know, open up yet. It's crazy. But that's not the point. That's neither here nor there, right? Yeah, I know it's a lot of blues. Right? But this is a lot of books. So what I want to do is, we was having the beef on Smash channel, right? And we had contentions on whether Hapi was the god of the Nile, whether he was the god of the Nile, or hold on, I'm sorry, whether Hapi was the Nile itself or the inundation of the Nile, right? Was the god of the inundation, or was it the Nile itself, right? So, without further ado, we're going to go right here to the Dictionary of Egyptian Gods. And let's see if we can checkmate them right out the gate. All right. I hope everybody can see this. What god was it? Hapi. It was the god Hapi. So we got to go to H. Hold on. Gotta go to H. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm all the way in A. We gotta go to H. All right, Hathor. So we close. It will be Hapi. All right, there we go. Right here, y'all. Can everybody see the screen? Well, let's get it. Let's see if smashing them is correct. Right here, Hapi. This is a dictionary of Egyptian gods. Hapi. The Hapi is god of the annual Nile inundation. Hapi lived in the caverns of the Hapi lived in the caverns of the cataract of the Nile, presided over by Khnum. He personifies the yearly flood rather than the Nile itself. Hence, references to a large or small Hapi. Let's highlight that. Let's highlight that. They like to say checkmate, right? Is that a checkmate? Is that a checkmate, y'all? If it's a checkmate, press 1. If that's a checkmate, press 1. It's a Hapi lived in the caverns of the cataract of the Nile, presided over by Khnum. Here we go. He personifies the yearly flood rather than the Nile itself. Did I knock him out already? Did I do that too quick, y'all? Can y'all hear me? Hold on. Is Hapi the Nile, or is it the inundation or the yearly flood? Which one is it? Because they keep trying to act like Hapi is the Nile. Now, I'll let y'all in a little secret. The Egyptians have a word in their language for the Nile. And guess what? It's not Hapi. The word that the Egyptians used for the Nile River, for that body of water, right, is Itaru. Itaru is the Nile River according to the Egyptians. Hapi is the inundation. These brothers been messing this up for years. I'm going to say it again. These brothers been messing that up for years. So, right there, the conversation can be over right there. But you know it's not going to stop with these dudes, right? It's not going to stop. It's like saying that the Egyptians were so spooky that they couldn't separate their religion from natural geography and phenomena that they seen. And I mentioned this on Smash Show for a reason. I said, when you walk up to a river for the first time, right? When you walk up to a river for the first time, right? The Egyptians, remember, the people that lived in Egypt was not farmers at first, right? As Unc always state, they come out of the bull cult. I'm sorry. They come out of the bull cult, right? So they were herders of livestock, of bulls at first, right? And they collected wild grains and things along the Nile. So they wasn't farmers, right? Later on in their history, when farming was introduced, right, or they developed the technology of farming, that's when the inundation became so meaningful to them. Unless you lived in the north. If you lived in the north, right, like around Fayum Lake, but this is in the north. Remember, they always tell us that the culture and the Egyptians come from the south. Remember, they always say that. So if they come from the south, then the flood, right, was not as meaningful to the people that lived in the south. Why? Because Nubia does not have large flood plains like Egypt. So if they came out of the south, like we've been taught by Unc and them, they didn't beat this in our head. So let's submit. Okay, they came out of the south. Fine. If they came out of the south where it's less floodplains and they come from a region where where it was the cattle was the main thing about the main thing that they got sustenance from, right? Then the flood, which produces the silt for the farming, wouldn't have been as meaningful to those people in the south. Y'all get that, right? Y'all get that. So if they came from the south, the flood was not as meaningful. So I say that to say that, so those people walking up to the Nile, right, would not have been saying that the inundation was anything that should have been sanctified, you know what I mean, or worship, right? Because they're not even farmers, right? They're cattle herders, right? They deal with the livestock, the cattle herding, right? Right. So so Hathor and the bull would be more prominent in their religion. So later on, when they moved into Egypt and you have the floodplain and they learned how to farm, or they developed the technology of farming, then that's when Hapi would have meant something. That's when they would have made up the concept of Hapi in their religion, right? So here we go. If they come from the south, right, without large floodplains, and they are not farmers, then Hapi wouldn't mean too much to them. So the name of the river wouldn't be Happy, because remember, we can read right here, Happy is the yearly flood. He personifies the yearly flood rather than the Nile itself. So boom, right there. That's a checkmate. So if they come from the south, they would have had a basic name for the river. And the basic name for the river was Itaru, meaning great river. Itaru in their language meant great river. Happy meant inundation. And if they came from the south and didn't come from a farming society, then the goddamn inundation and the flood wouldn't mean the same thing to them until later on, till they developed farming. So they would have to have a basic name for the river first. So the basic name for the river, for the phenomenon that they walked up on and seen, was the river. It was Itaru. Later on, when they developed farming, right, when they moved north, according to them, they moved north. When they moved north and they developed farming, right, then they would imbue the different deification on the inundation. Remember, they already had, coming out of the south, they already had a name for the river, right? And it was Itaru. Later on, when they developed the technology of farming, right, and they learned how the inundation brings the silt, right, the overflowing of the Nile brings the silt, right, that actually helps fertilize the crops even better, so they can get big yields, right? So that's when they named the goddamn inundation or the flood Happy. But the river was named Itaru, the great river. I think I just knocked out some pseudos. What y'all think? I don't know. But let's go further. Let's go further. And I gotta get something to eat in a second. Let's go further. I think it was Budge. Was it Budge? I think it was Budge 40, page 42. Let me see. Because this is what Asar MCAT had put forth. Give me a second, y'all. I gotta find the page. This is an old book. Here we come. We coming up on it. We coming up on it. Stay with me, y'all. Stay with me. So I'm gonna show. All right, this must not be the book. I'm sorry. This must not be. It might be this Budge book. Here you go, Happy. Came right up. All right, cool. All right, this is what Asar MCAT put forth about Happy. Now, it says, and this is from Budge, Egyptian Gods, Mythology of Egyptian Gods. Let's see. All right, cool. All right, it says Happy, right? The god of the Nile. It has already been said above that the god Osiris was probably in pre-dynastic times a river god or a water god, and that in course of time he became identified with Hap or Happy, the god of the Nile. Now, Budge is claiming that Happy is the god of the Nile, but we're going to look at 4 other sources and see if they agree with Budge, because I've only found Budge to say this. And let's see if we have 4 different sources against Budge, right? Then that's 4-1. All right. Let's see. All right, it says, in pre-dynastic times, a river god or a water god, and that in course of time, he became identified with Hap or Happy, the god of the Nile. When such an identification took place, we have no means of knowing, but that such was undoubtedly the case is apparent from large numbers of passages in texts of all periods. The meaning of the name of the Nile god has not yet been satisfactorily explained, and the variation proposed for it by the priests in the late dynastic period in no way helps us. It is certain that Hap, or later Hap, is a very ancient name for the Nile and the Nile god, and it is probably the name which was given to the river by the pre-dynastic inhabitants of Egypt. Now, that's what Budge is saying. Budge is saying that Hap, right, is, according to him, probably, he's saying probably, is the most ancient name for the Nile and the god itself. Now, that's what he's saying. Now, let's get into some sources. Let's see. Now, we see what Budge said. This is the source that Budge and them used, right? So, I mean, this is the source that Asar MCAT used. And my man Smashed, he backed the conclusion that Budge made in this. All right? So, hold on. Let me click out of here. Let me get my source together. All right. I'm sorry, y'all. Give me a second. I'm stalling out. Let's put in geeking. All right, let's go back to the pseudo killer pad. Let's move this. Let me move me out the way. All right, let's see. Let's go to Wiki first, right? Let's go to Wiki first. All right, Wiki says Happy. Now God. All right. Happy, ancient Egyptian, was the god of the annual flooding of the Nile in ancient Egyptian religion. The flood deposited rich silt, fertile soil on the river banks, allowing the Egyptians to grow crops. Hapi was greatly celebrated among the Egyptians. Some of the titles of Hapi were Lord of the Fish and Birds and the Marshes, and Lord of the River bringing vegetation. Hapi is typically depicted as an androgynous figure with a big belly and large drooping breasts, wearing loincloth and ceremonial false beard. All right. Hapi shown as an iconographic pair of genii symbolizing tying the upper and lower Egypt. That's one of the things that is known for. Okay. So let's go back out here. Let's go to Britannica. Britannica says, Hapi, in ancient Egyptian religion, Egyptian religion personification of the annual inundation of the Nile River. Hapi was the most important among numerous personifications of aspects of natural fertility, and his dominance increased during Egyptian history. Hymns were composed in his honor, but he had no temples or formal cults except at the narrows of Jebel el Silla in the south, where shrines were built and offerings were cast annually into the river's rising waters. Hapi was represented as a fat man with swelling pendulous breasts as an indication of prosperity, dressed in a belt suitable to a marsh dweller or servant. This form, which was originally common to many personifications, became identified increasingly closely with Hapi. All right. So we got here. Let's see. Move. Go ahead. Move. Move. Go back outside. Egyptian god of the inundation. Says it right there, not the Nile. It is the god of the inundation, not the Nile. Now, let's see. Let's see if I'm correct. Can y'all see that? Or do I have to blow it up? Now we have, what the hell? I'm sorry. Now we have one word interview, and I found this in the TLA. Itaru meaning it was a measurement, right? So that wasn't so that spelling had two different definitions to it. So let's put in all right, ancient Egyptian word for Nile. So as soon as I put it in, Itaru. Now let's see. I did something wrong. Yo, I hate that. Yo, I had everything pulled up on my iPad. Now I can't find nothing. All right. All right, okay, here we go. All right, it says the ancient Egyptian language, the Nile is called Hapi or Itaru, meaning river. In Coptic, the word pronounced Paro or Paro means the river. Fuck. Now, let's look into that. Now, I got this meaning. It says the Nile is called the Hapi or Itaru. Now, that's why I'm about to go to the TLA, like Smash showed me, right? And let's see if we can get that popping. Let's see what they say about Happy in the TLA. Oh, damn, I got people waiting in the back. My bad. Oh, damn, y'all done jumped out. My bad, y'all. Come back in. Fuck. Shit. Hold on, y'all. No, that's the wrong that's the wrong one, Vance. Where you get that from? That's the right link right there. Here, all right, here I come. Damn. Let me see. Cedric, here I go. Hold on. It's too much. Click that link, Cedric. My bad. I think that was the wrong link, Juju. That would the link. Boom. He said, "Come on, Egypt again." Lord have mercy. All right. Where y'all at? Click the link again. My bad. Everybody come back in. I was doing this and I wasn't paying attention. I apologize. I need to look at my screen, but I was reading off my iPad. So, Juju, you looking sweaty. What's going on? You looking like you put some Vaseline on today. What's happening?
Feeling. That's that melon glow.
Okay, that's that. Oh.
My forehead big too, so you know the light was like shining right on my forehead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's all. Peace, fam. Let's get it.
Peace. What's going on? Yeah. Oh, why is this still? That's crazy. All right, let me move this over. Boom. All right, so let me get Cedric in here. How you doing today, though?
I'm good.
That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's
Chilling in Boston. About to go to the Museum of Natural Sciences and the Harvard Museum tomorrow. You know, see what they got.
Mm-hmm. What museum you going to?
The Museum of Natural Sciences here.
Mm-hmm.
The Museum of Natural Sciences here in Boston, and then Harvard has a museum that has some archaeological type stuff and fossils or whatnot. So we're going to do that. And I'll probably go back to the Museum of Fine Arts one more time. And I'm going to go do the African American Heritage Trail here. It's a walking tour, but kind of goes through like, you know, the African Meeting House, Frederick Douglass, David Walker, Phyllis Wheatley, William Lloyd Garrison, all those, you know, Black African greats kind of pondered around here in Boston. It was pretty awesome. Harriet Tubman, yeah. They all.
Oh yeah, Harriet Tubman moved to Boston, right? That's where she died at. Yeah, yeah.
In the African Meeting House, they all, you know, literally spoke in that area. So, you know, call it what. So the spirit of my ancestors, you know, to be standing on the stage where Frederick Douglass gave speeches and whatnot is that's kind of exciting and amazing. You know? And Boston has a rich, like, African-American culture here. Also, Prince Hall is buried here. We went and saw his gravesite week. Yeah. So,
awesome.
I'll be doing.
Awesome. At least you getting something out of, you know.
Yeah.
Being up there, you know what I mean?
Out of a crazy situation.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. Keep your spirits up.
Got to.
And focus on something else. You know what I mean?
Yes, fam. Yep. Definitely.
So that's what's up. I know it won't, you know, take your mind completely off of what's going on, but, you know, it'll help for 30 minutes, you know?
It does. It does.
Yeah, so I totally agree. Cedric, what's going on, bro?
Peace, family. Peace, Juju. How you doing?
I'm
gonna
good.
call you sometime tomorrow when I get off work.
Okay, that's fine.
I'll call you sometime in the morning. Just have a chat a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm good. I'm listening to this latest debate here. And peace to the chat. Peace, everyone. How's everybody doing? And you in the other show, I said what I said, and you said I made it up. Well, partly it was a summary of my discussion with Wu Jiang, because of course, as a methodological naturalist, I would push back on any notion of a scientific explanation entailing the personification or the anthropomorphication of a natural entity. I contend that what the ancients did was what we do in our modern day is simply a god of the gaps. They simply had more gods because what they did was give agency to these entities, a happy, as being responsible for the observations that they witnessed. So they didn't have actual understanding of the processes. They just gave agency to a happy, and happy was the one who was responsible for the observations that they made. Now, which I'll push back, of course, and we concluded pretty much that happy was nothing spooky, not a god, but happy was the name for the river. And in that totality, it represented all the processes. So the flooding, the abundance of fish, etc., etc. Mm-hmm. So the statement I made was maybe made up, but it was more or less a summary of my conversation with Wu Jiao. So I am all ears in having this flushed out. I'm gonna shut up, mute my mic, and just listen.
Oh, okay, that's what's up. And that conversation with you and Wu Jiao was crazy. I mean, you did a hell of a job, because Wu Jiao tangle you all up in some mess, right? But you did a good job keeping your feet planted on the ground, right? That's good. You ain't let them get you off your square. You stayed on them just like a pit bull. You was locked on them. You know what I mean? And you ain't let him go. Man, he'll tangle you up, man.
Look, listen, Wu Jiao was trying to, but he doesn't understand that when he really thinks that he got me going there, that's the bait I'm putting in front of him. So even when I changed Leprechaun was way too easy because I understood what he was trying to do. He was trying to shift the conversation as if spirit didn't come loaded with a preconceived definition. Wu Jiao was doing that. What it used to mean, that's a logical fallacy. I let that whole conversation slide because at the end of the day, I needed to reach to the point that you cannot take an idea for which there is no quantitative evidence and create a study to create the illusion as if this is scientific. So I let him go through that whole bill with the foundation. With my foundation, I'm a methodological naturalist, which means it has to be identifiable, quantifiable in reality. So that is a foundation there. So any conversation that we're going to have of you trying to create or the illusion that we can develop a science called spiritology to quantify spookism ain't happening. That was more my angle in the conversation. But the happy position was all tied up in that whole conversation. So I want to see how much validity there is to that position because I contend that it's not.
Okay.
That bitch called me a conscious thought.
That's funny.
That's funny.
All right, here we go. All right, so right here, the wiki clearly says that Hapi was not regarded as the god of the Nile itself, but of the inundation event. Hapi was the god of the inundation event. Meaning when that shit overflowed, that was Hapi. Right? That was Hapi. But, all right, let me see if I can share this. Now I'm about to do something crazy, y'all. Hold on. Hey, Juju, I'm going to give you controls of the Zoom in case people start coming in while I'm reading.
Gotcha.
So you can control these yahoos that's coming in. All right. So All right, we got that part. So let's go to the let's see if we can share my screen again. I don't want that. Let's see if we can do a Firefox. Yeah. Hold on. Share. Man, it won't even show it. That's crazy. That's crazy. Hold on. No, it is showing it, ain't it? Man. Oh, it's behind there. My bad, y'all. There it go. It is showing it. So what can I do? Oh, I can black that out. Let me this screen. Let me take that out. There we go. I'm a bad motherfucker. I'm telling y'all. I'm a bad motherfucker. Right there. All right. Y'all can see that? Probably not. Is y'all still there? Juju?
We here, fam. We can see it.
Okay. All right, cool.
Yeah.
It's not really big, though. I'm just saying.
All right, let me fix it. Let me fix it.
Lock the screen, Chef.
Huh?
Yeah, you need to lock the screen so we don't show up.
All right.
Right.
All right, I got you. All right, there we go. Got my mouse working. Blow that up.
Security cameras?
All right, now let me go to the Zoom and lock my screen. All right. I think that's all right. Now everybody can see. Everybody good? Yes, no, maybe so. Okay. All right, good. Right here, happy. Right? What does that say?
Can you blow it up?
You can't see. Damn, I can't even blow it up.
I can't see clearly or good.
Hey, can the chat see it?
I don't think that would be clear enough for the chat.
God damn it. Let me see.
I'm even trying to stretch my screen. It ain't working. Just too small.
Man. All right, hold on. Let's see.
Can't you use the cursor to zoom in?
Yeah, I'm about to do it now. I'll do it. Oh shit, it's blurry on the damn. What's the name?
Can't you use the cursor to?
Damn, how the hell Smashing them be doing that, man? Why my shit blurry?
Yeah, it's blurry.
It's blurry as hell.
Get it right, fam.
I'm trying this. That's crazy.
Zoom in.
They gonna say I'm pseudo.
You better get it right.
They gonna say I'm pseudo, man.
Oh shit!
They gonna say
He's
I'm.
gonna set himself up.
They gonna. Oh, you know what?
So you got a Facebook open?
Yeah, what I'm gonna do is. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the Zoom and do it. Let's see if I can. Sosa waiting to get in. I got him.
Oh.
All right.
I'll-
Go to the Zoom. Let's see if I can share my screen. Man, this is crazy. Sosa, what's up? I'm trying to work this out.
Ain't much, man. Sitting there trying to go to the damn mail. Yeah. I saw what you did in the beginning, though. That was checkmate off the jump.
Yeah, it was checkmate off the jump.
Yeah, should have just started a new stream and renamed the show.
Your handler, Chief X, say it's clear enough now.
I want you to type in, just for clarity's sake. Let's find.
Yeah. I saw what you did in the beginning, though. That was checkmate off the jump.
Yeah, it was checkmate off the jump.
What the
name
is of the god of the
rename
Nile.
the show.
Your handler, Chief X, say it's clear enough now.
I want you to type in, just for clarity's sake. Let's find.
Yeah. I saw what you did in the beginning.
Somebody got Facebook open.
Not Facebook. I mean YouTube. Sorry.
Oh, I just cut it. I think that was me. Oh man, yo, that's crazy. It's right here on my screen, y'all. That's crazy. I got it pulled up on the TLA, and it says right here, Hapi, the Nile flood. Like it's, and y'all can't even see it. Nuts.
Can you pull up the name of the god of the Nile itself?
What now? I can't. Why the hell this shit ain't? You gotta let somebody in.
I got it.
All right. Well, let me go back to
My
the
favorites adversary.
Name for the Nile god. Name for the Nile. Yeah, the name for the Nile was Itaru.
Yeah, man.
The name for the Nile. I mean the god. Is there a god of the Nile?
No, there's gods associated with the Nile. I think that's a better way to say it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I
guess.
There's gods associated with the Nile, but the Nile itself isn't a god. You did?
Cyrus associated with the Nile.
Right. Sobek is associated with the Nile.
Was it Nu too, right? Nu and none? Nu? Like she's like the body, she's like the whole water shit which I was talking about. Like you can't get water without, you know what I mean? Nu. she's the premortal waters and shit.
So yeah, the god of water would be Nu, right?
Mm-hmm.
Man, yo, my TL, this is crazy. I gotta try this one more time, yo. I can't fail like this. That's not good, Joe, because I had some fire right here. I got in the TLA, they have the iterer, right? And then you can go to all of its attestations that it have. And in all of the attestations, they're talking about the river itself without nothing spooky going on, right? When they're talking about the river itself, right? Like somebody sailed down the river or they put up a stela in a certain, part of the river,
Yeah.
is actually saying Great River, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But every time it's talking about the flood or inundation or bringing forth food or anything, that's when it's talking about
Of
Hapi.
course, because it would
Hapi.
give agency to natural processes that they could not describe, God of the gaps. That's my argument, which makes Hapi not a scientific explanation, but a spooked out explanation, quote unquote.
Yeah, we ain't even dealing with if it's scientific or not. You know what I'm saying? We already know back then. Limitation.
Yeah, but that was my argument with Budge that day.
Okay, yeah, that's damn. So, but yeah, so that was my killer part of the argument right there, because Budge, Asar the dude Asar, he had brought up the Budge joint, and before he brought up the Budge piece, Smash was drowning.
Yeah.
Everything Smash was pulling up was saying it was the inundation. Like he was trying trying to explain around it, and he was trying to make stuff fit play. I'm looking like, nah, bro. Yeah,
because it was saying like he vomit. You know what I'm saying? yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, but he was trying to make it fit. What's going on, Moses?
Man, what's up, man?
Chilling.
What's going on, everybody?
Hey.
And I really want to get a better explanation of that. The last two sentences that you read with the satisfactory, and then where it says, you know the sentence I'm talking about?
Go ahead. The one where, what you mean?
Can you pull it up and I'll show it to you again?
I think you should go over your source one more time, Sheffrin, and also clarify the source for the chat, the audience.
That Budge page.
I was trying to type to smash in the chat because when the flood came, according to Toy Maguire, that book, they would say Hapi has arrived. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because that Wikipedia source is sourcing that book, Toby Wilkerson book. I think it's Wilkerson.
You talking about the one that Melvin got you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Once he said the one where he said Happy put the fish on the land, I thought that was it right there. That
is definitely a dagger. Putting fish on land is.
I mean that.
Right?
I couldn't. Yeah. You just went right past it.
It was a done deal.
Can you see it?
The last two sentences that you read on that Wallis Budge page, one of them says something about the definition of happy is unsatisfactory in the priests of the new kingdom, and I can't really remember exactly what it says after that.
Okay, it says, it has already been said above that the god Osiris was probably in pre-dynastic times a river god or a water god, and that in course of time he became identified with Hap, the god of the Nile. When such a identification took place, we have no means of knowing, but that such was undoubtedly the case is apparently from large numbers of passages in texts of all periods. the meaning of the name of the Nile god has not yet been satisfactorily explained, and the derivation proposed for it by the priests in the late dynastic period in no way helps us. See, he's already talking about shit not clear. Then he says, it is certain that, and then he gets, this is where he, makes his claim. He say, it is certain that Hep, later Hap, is a very ancient name for the Nile and the Nile god, and it is probably the name which was given to the river by the pre-dynastic inhabitants of Egypt. One of the oldest mentions of Hep is found in the text of Unas, where it is said, keep watch, O messengers, keep watch, O ye who have lain down, wake up, O ye who are in Kinset, O ye aged ones, thou great terror, who cometh forth from Hep, thou who cometh forth from a cert tree, the mouth of Unas is pure. It is important to note that Hep is mentioned in connection with Kinset. Now, Kinset here means the first nome of Egypt, in which were included the first cataract. I'm glad you told me to read that.
That sentence is saying proceed with caution.
Yeah, but
The African parts.
Yeah, but check it out. It says right here that that Kinset here means the first nome of Egypt, in which were included the first cataracts. That's where Hapi starts to overflow at. Y'all get that, right? The river runs through the whole joint, but where Egypt, where the way the Nile and the way the what you call it, the floodplain, right, is once it get past the first cataract, because it runs from south to north. Once it get past that first cataract, then that's when the ground change, right? Down past the first cataract, I think that's a limestone rock that is flowing through. But once it get past that first cataract, that's where you can start planting crops and stuff at. The soil change up there in Egypt. You dig what I'm saying? So they would always, so that's where it started the flood at, right? When they got up in when the Nile got up into Egypt, it would overflood the banks, right, and deposit the rich soil, the rich silt into the overflowing land that was around it. So that even makes sense right there. So Budge, he might be being honest, but he's actually backing up what they said, right, the beginning of where Hap lived at. They said Hap lived at the beginning of the
first cataract.
Yeah, exactly. So he's saying that. So that's Hap, even in this. My man.
So
right. So if he was just a river, then he wouldn't live at the first cataract.
Exactly.
Right.
So, Chef, you know what you just read, though, right?
Yeah, I know what I read.
You just said the oldest attestation of it is the river god, yo.
Why the fuck did it do?
You said that.
No, yeah.
You know that.
I know it's
What's the conversation then?
Oh man, see, you came in the middle. That's.
No, I'm just saying. No, I'm not in the middle. I'm saying if you're trying to say that Happy ain't the damn river, it's just the flooding of it. That's cool, but the oldest representation of it is the name of the river itself. You read it. That's the oldest understanding of it is the river god.
The name of the river is Itaru.
Man, go back and read what you just read.
This is a contention that we're having with Budge. This was I told you to come over to Smash Channel. You might have been was being busy, right? So when over there, Asar had put this this where he had used the counter our claim, right? So but when
What's your claim? What's your claim?
That Hapi was the inundation.
Oh, Hapi is the flood?
Yeah, it's the inundation.
The fault.
Y'all saying that Hapi is the flood, right?
Yeah.
Y'all saying Hapi is the flood or the river?
It's the flood, the inundation. Yeah.
Okay, so you saying, so you do acknowledge that what you read said that Hap was the actual river. The oldest understanding of it is the river. You do realize you read that. And you're saying you don't agree with that. You read it. You saying
the source is Budge, though.
Yeah.
So have a problem with the source.
Yeah, other scholars disagree with Budge. He was just reading Budge so they can get Budge's argument against the other scholars.
Did the other scholars? Okay.
Wait, whoa. So what part of Budge are people disagree with? They don't disagree with everything in Budge. Y'all know that, right?
They disagree with if Hapi is the river itself or the phenomenon. Other scholars are saying it's the phenomenon and not the river. It's just the flood. It's the inundation.
So, okay. So what's the oldest form of it and what is it though? So you saying that's a lie?
No.
Budge made that up.
No, I'm not saying Budge made that up. But how can we check that?
Otherwise, the academic consensus in the eyes that stands is that it is deifying the flooding of the river, and it is not the river itself. That's what they're saying on.
Yeah, y'all fucking it up somewhere, I promise you.
Oh my
God. Nah, it's that they pray that the flood comes.
Yeah, I can guarantee you fucked it up.
Now we got a reading comprehension.
Well, no, that would mean it'll be a whole nother conversation if we're talking about what we're going to allow and what we're not going to allow. If we feel that a source or person has been discredited and like Budge is questionable. So, and that's what they're saying.
And it's not really messing it up. The source is clear. Like if you look
what paper was y'all reading? So you said that, what's the name? Give me that paper. Give me 5 minutes.
No, this is the book.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you y'all fucking it up. Send me the picture. Put the picture in the chat.
No, this is this is The Gods of the Egyptians by Wallis Budge.
Yeah. Okay, so why would you read that? Okay, so you went somewhere else that told you that was wrong, right?
Yeah, the other thing said that the Hapi was the inundation itself, not the river, but just the inundation.
What about Hep?
Hep is the inundation.
I thought you said Happy was. Or was that the same word?
It was.
Or was that the root? One is the root.
No, it's Hep. And Budge has Hep or Happy. He has HAP or HAPI. So he's saying those two words are basically the same. However you want to spell it.
They're interchangeable.
They're interchangeable in his joint. So you saying you rolling with Budge? That's basically what you saying.
No, I'm not saying nothing. I'm saying the way y'all be fucking shit up, I can't imagine y'all getting this way.
Yo just came in and just started hating.
No, I'm saying like the way y'all fucked it up, I can't imagine y'all getting that right. I don't trust you. I gotta check it myself. That's what I'm saying. I ain't messing nothing up.
That's hate, but
y'all
that's what you call hate, though.
Yeah. I'm not hate.
That
man,
is
come
hate.
on, yo. I sat there and I talked to Sosa last night. Mm-hmm. This nigga cut me off every 20 minutes.
Oh, you back to that? You cut him
off last night, man.
Yeah, I'm back to that. Shit, when I look stupid, man, like, nigga cut me off, ain't let me finish. I just got off the show. Too late to be arguing with. He gonna act like the source he read didn't say what it said.
The
and
source.
Then put me on reading the other source a whole hour. I was like, what?
No, I didn't want to. What I wanted to do, what Corey said he was going to do, I wanted to slow it down, and I wanted to your source, and I wanted to compare your source with my source. But you would have run through your shit, close out, and be like, boom, leave the shit just looking crazy. I'm like, let's take our time and go slow.
All right, okay. Well, I wonder why I can understand. I wonder why I can understand what y'all just said just now. Easy to understand what you're saying. You said Burgess was wrong. Y'all had a scholar that corrected him. That's it. See, I accept the correction, but y'all niggas, when I say, yo, they say that shit, they don't say that no more, it's wrong. I show you a fucking museum, 3 fucking museums, curated, and y'all still argue that shit. That's some bullshit I'm talking about right there. Huh? See, it ain't playing out the same way on both sides.
Right.
See, I heard Juju. I heard Chef. They said the man was wrong. They said it was really dealing with the inundation. It wasn't actually dealing with the river itself. And Burge was wrong. And I shut the fuck up. But y'all, nah, y'all argue for 10 months off this shit, right? I'm saying it's 2022. Egyptology has changed. Y'all argued for damn near a year. Found that ragged ass coon in the chat. Called Chief X. Now make another video, Chief X. Now make another commercial. Bobby banging this bitch. Now.
Yeah, I wanna redo that Brooklyn shit.
No, you don't.
I wanna go through it slowly, bro, because I wanna read it, and then after we read a particular part, I wanna see what we comprehend from what we read, and then we're gonna compare what the modern day shit has, and then we see what's different and we see what's consistent. You know what I'm saying?
Dang,
that's
man,
what
I wanted to read the line when they said that Mesopotamia, right? What did it say, yo, for 6 watch? Affected the art and all that shit. Man, don't nobody say that shit like that.
It said Mesopotamia after the first dynasty had major influence, significant influence on
significant influence on art. What else? Wait.
Art, culture, etc. We know what that means.
So what is significant influence, yo? Would that be like, does China have a significant influence on the United States, yo? Because the United States traded with China, and there's some influences that come out of China. Do we say a significant influence from China on American culture, art, and all that, bro? That's what I'm asking.
But the point is that if
you're saying no, stay there for a minute. You're saying no. So why are you mad at me when I'm saying they got that part wrong? That's all I was saying.
See what I'm saying? Like, let me explain. My point was that if the answer is no, then let's explore and see and then let's look at some of the influences going both ways and see if it's actual fact or not. Let's look at this. Let's talk about trade. Let's look at culture and see what they're saying. Let's slow it down.
Okay, so now we're on a better page today. So you do hear the example I'm making about China and how United States been trading with China and how Chinese actually helped build one part of the fucking railroad. All this is clear, bro. But nobody says they had a significant influence on American culture.
That's not the same
without
thing.
that influence, America wouldn't be what it be. That's what you basically saying when you said about Egypt and Mesopotamia.
That's not the same thing when you have two empires and right down the street from each other who's been interacting for thousands of years.
But they're not right down the street from each other, yo.
They've been interacting with each other for millennia, bro.
Okay, so all right. So watch this. We're gonna put
thousands of years.
That's fine. Me and you gonna put a pin in that, right? Now I want to ask you, where have you read that Egypt has had a significant influence on Mesopotamia?
Word Encyclopedia.
All right, pull it up. Let's read it.
We just read that one from that's the one I was showed last night, huh? Gonna do it again?
No, man, come on, man, stop. No, it didn't say that, man. Stop. You didn't pull up Mesopotamia, yo. You pulled up something about Egypt, yo.
You was arguing over Mesopotamia and Sumer.
No,
that's what you were arguing. All right.
No, I wasn't. No, Chef got it mixed up. Y'all so busy be trying to get me. He thought I didn't understand that Mesopotamia is actually an area, right? And when you start breaking down the actual empires, that's what I was talking about, the actual empires. People make the mistake and say the Mesopotamians. No, it's the Sumerians. It's one of the civilizations that was in Mesopotamia between the rivers.
All right.
Right? That's what I was trying to say. But, you know, it's 5 against 1. I'm good for that experience. But, you know what I'm saying? When it's late night, goddamn. So I just want to make sure we could you should pull up Britannica right now, and let's read about the significant influence Egypt had on Mesopotamia. You're not going to find it. And as a matter of fact, when we talk about writing, they always lead with Mesopotamia. Or they say this. We can pull up right now. The origin of writing. They'll Bible started in Mesopotamia. And like I was trying to say yesterday, it's the people writing the information that always want that influence from the Bible region. Remember, Abraham came from the region of beyond what? The Tigris-Euphrates River. Right? Gion and Peon and Tigris-Euphrates. That's all in Asia. And the Bible ain't got shit to do with Africa. It's right there in the book of Genesis.
Man.
That's my point. So did you should be looking right now, we can read that Egypt has a significant influence on the art, on the trade, on the music, on Mesopotamia. I bet you won't find it, dog. Why not? That's my whole point. And I'm saying in the field of Egyptologists, bro, they don't say that shit like that no more. Because it don't make no sense.
Let me see what's going on. Make sure my
go to basic Wikipedia. That seems to be the standard at the moment. Wikipedia. Mesopotamia.
I can't see what's showing. Can you see the screen?
Mm-hmm.
This was the issue when we read that trade was already long established with Mesopotamia. You kind of went off the rails on the Mesopotamia part.
I didn't go off of the rails. I went off the rails down here. Yo, you keep jumping up there. Go down. I know I went off the rails at. You didn't want to deal with that. I said, yo, let's go with this.
Yeah, it seems clear, however, that the earlier Mesopotamia culture, especially the Sumerian, had a significant impact on the developing culture of Egypt.
Right, and I'm saying that's a fucking outright breasted 1800 view that is no longer being expounded upon in the up-to-date museums. They're not expounding on that anymore. Right, in the new King Tut Museum. In the new King Tut exhibit.
Can I ask you this?
I'm in the middle of talking. Don't ask me what I'm talking. You got the King Tut exhibition. You got they coming out of the Green Sahara and the museum that y'all niggas is tired of hearing about, but y'all never refuted. Not that clown over there ever refuted. Nobody right here ever refutes that. Y'all try to refute it with your man who right here. And I'm saying that's not how the next crop of Egyptologists, they're not looking at that no more. They don't even call it Mediterranean culture, no matter what we fight. They call it Nile Valley civilization, which was a running joke. Oh, that's the black algae. Oh, that's Diaz. That's Dr. Pink, all of that. That's not an academia. Now museums use it Nile Valley culture.
Let's get back on point, man. It's like let's just get back to the conversation. See, you go into these speeches and stuff. So listen, what do they say? Do they trace that? Do they trace the normal palette to Mesopotamia? Because we're gonna look at. Nah, we're not doing. I mean, I respect Smash.
No, we
can't use Smash as a reference, bro. I'm talking about the experts in the field.
That's a joke. That's a joke.
No, the experts.
I'm trying to tell you, man. What the hell is wrong with you, y'all? Experts don't say that. I told you what the experts say.
What do they say about the normal palette?
Experts say.
I'm asking specifically, what do the experts say about the influence of the normal palette, bro? That's a specific.
Yeah, they don't say that because I can go to.
What do they say? I'm asking you. What
Pull
do
it
they
up.
say?
I don't know. Pull it up.
All that arguing, you don't know.
I don't know what. I know there's a makeup fucking stone. It's a makeup palette where you put makeup on it, crushed makeup on it. And I know what the rest of them are. But the same, you know what I'm saying? Like you can see where the development of this shit is coming out of Africa itself or Egypt. They don't need Mesopotamia. I can show you on rock art with the beast with the long neck. That ain't no Mesopotamian shit. I laughed at that shit. Don't fuck with me. That's a joke. That's a running joke for me. I can go right to the rock art and show you where the long neck beast at.
So, right, but I'm saying, like, can you get with it? I just wanted to get what the experts say. Like, I feel you, but
so
I don't believe.
I'm saying the experts are changing that stat.
Just go get it. Go get it, bro. You don't talk me to do it. Go get it. I believe what
I did. Y'all start making jokes when I try to read it. Y'all like, what are you talking about?
I'm gonna be completely quiet when you go get to what the experts say about the normal palette and where.
Oh, now you hear the experts say about the normal palette now. So you jumping. So we kind of jumping. We don't want to get this straight right here. That what you move it back.
No, it's the same. I'm in the same place. I say I'm expert on everything. I don't be listening.
All right. Let's be real. All right, come on, yo. Let's be real for a minute.
Nah, you want to use logic? Go ahead.
No, I'm not using logic, yo. I'm asking you a question, yo. How many Jabal rack knives do they have, yo? They got one. They got one, bro. They got one.
Yeah, but listen.
So you make a determination off for one artifact, yo. Like me and you don't gotta be. We not experts, right? We're not even trying to use common sense. We're using we're using the rules in archaeology, bro. Like if you find one artifact that of a Homo sapien sapien that date to 1.5 million years, that shit is totally questionable because nowhere on planet Earth do you find that Homo sapien sapien at 1.5 million years. You don't find no Homo sapien bones nowhere. You don't find the tools that they use. So it's called an out of place artifact, bro. So we got ball arachnites, right? And the other little thing, that's two artifacts, yo.
No, but don't they have more? Don't they have more artifacts from the first Nakata period? Because Nubia had been trading with niggas way up in that. I forgot the exact location. What they do got is they got the fucking Nubian, quote unquote, dressed like Egyptians. That's what they got. These for the Egyptians is what they got.
No, he talking about the people of Mesopotamia. Like the trade and stuff that was going on between North Africa and that part of Asia. You saying that's not real?
Foreign artifacts.
No, I'm saying that statement of a significant influence that shaped the culture is a bunch of played out malarkey, is what I'm saying. Now you just go to the normal palette, right? So you giving me that? Are you not giving me that? Because we're moving on to the normal palette. I just want to hear you say it. So you're giving me that. Are you giving me that?
No, I'm going to more.
Hold
on. Let me fully answer the question. You said that's not enough. 2 is not enough. So I said, well, let's try to see if we can find some more, right? So we got the pre-dynastic Egyptian of the Nakata 1 period, right? Also imported obsidian from Ethiopia. Use shape, blazing other objects and flake.
What?
Obsidian from Ethiopia, right? Right? Blazing other objects and flake.
Hold on. It said a what, yo?
Huh?
What the fuck is that? What is that?
What, obsidian?
Yeah.
Stone.
Look, naturally occurring volcanic glass, bro.
Go ahead.
Anyway. All right, and shape blazing other objects from flakes. So Nakatans, right? The Nakatans, right, which is that Egyptian area, traded with Nubia to the south, Oasis, of the Western Desert to the west, and the cultures of the Eastern Mediterranean to the east. This is pre-dynastic period.
All right, so then why don't Nubia have a significant influence on the Nakata 1 period? Why they never say that? I'm not even saying it's true, right? I'm going to say it.
What the hell?
I don't understand why you be doing this shit. Like you maybe don't want to talk about it.
Bro, I'm doing it to show you. Because when they want to put shit in its proper context, they do. You know what I'm saying? But keep reading though. I'm saying that's why we got to go to the artifact.
I mean, but it's laying down how extensive this shit was all the way into that region. Like they've been doing.
Go ahead.
So I'm saying, just like the artifact was saying, they had been exchanging with each other in that region for a long period of time.
Hold on, but it's saying it, right? It's saying that Egypt was influenced and traded with them too. So I don't understand why you making it a big deal.
Where is that?
It's right there. It's a pottery and other artifacts from the Levant. No, stop. Pottery and other artifacts from the Levant that date to the Nepatin have been found in ancient Egypt. Egyptian artifacts dating to this have been found in Canaan and other regions of the Near East, including Tel Bark and Uruk and Susa in Mesopotamia. So it's saying that Egypt, you can find Egyptian shit there and you can find their shit in Egypt. What is your problem, bro?
problem is you and so
God
just read that
damn.
shit. Y'all just read that shit, and nowhere did it say that Egypt significantly influenced that shit.
Man,
they said like they was
I'm
fucking
done
supposed
with
to
this
say it.
shit.
That's my motherfucking problem.
Yeah, that's why I said before. I'd rather not even
wait
argue
a minute,
over.
bro. Hey, bro.
Right.
Don't play, yo. Let's keep it 100. You heard, we just read it. That's exactly what happens. Where is the significant formulation of shit come from? Who threw that shit in there? Y'all know what I'm saying, bro. Come on, man. Don't play the game crazy.
Well, I'm saying if this saying, my whole point of
Why
that.
would Shep ask me my problem, though? And then why would you let him ask me that when you know what my damn problem is? My problem is they need to keep it just like that on both sides. Just like you just read it, bro. But you brought up a source that didn't keep it like that. The source you brought up started talking about significant influence, the origin of Egypt. They said all that, bro. And I'm saying that's wrong. Simply, they did what he just read right there. That's all they did. Influences back and forth. But the whole significant origin, all that stupid shit, is some crazy, bad, made-up shit, bro. That's not what the archaeological record states. The archaeological record will be more in line with what he just read. Y'all just named different artifacts and different trade goods coming from Nubia, coming from the Levant, significant trade. That's what really was going on. No more different than China and finding Nissan cars in America. That don't mean that Japan made the motherfucking United States. Y'all know what I'm saying, but y'all play this wild ass game, dog. Y'all play the wild. What is they talking about? Y'all know what the hell I'm talking about. And I'm not yelling and screaming. I'm very exact and to the point. What Chef just read is what I'm saying. Why don't they just keep it like that, dog? Keep it like that.
Yeah, that's the point. Then why do we fight over these articles? You can just say, you know what? I object to the word significant and trade. And we say trade goes both ways. Then we can move and we can talk about what was actually being traded instead of getting.
You wouldn't let me do it.
Man, come on, man.
Dog, go back and play the show. You cut me off. I said, yo, let me bring it in and show you why. I went to the museum. I pulled up the slide. Yo, you told me I want to sort that. Yo, you did all of that.
I didn't do all that.
I have no problem with the significant.
I said, want me to read it? I read the shit for you. And I said, before you go, let's just slow
I'm
it down.
done. Hey, Sosa, I'm finished with that. I made my point.
I have no problem with significant influence.
I wanted to examine the statement so we can see
so let's examine where is the significant influence there, bro? On the origin and the art knowing it, where's that at? And I asked y'all to explain it. Y'all ain't did that yet, yo.
Because it was
y'all named the fucking trading field or something. Y'all ain't need to do that yet.
Trading back and forth. Nobody speaks about influence.
By the 4th millennium BC, they talk about this gemstone, this lapis lazuli that was being traded from its original source in
Afghanistan.
And like Turkestan, like near Afghanistan, where now I'm not.
It's called Uzbekistan.
Yeah. So I'm saying like, and that's what they were using coming all the way from Afghanistan, going to Mesopotamia and Egypt. You know what I'm saying? So we can just examine some of the shit that they talk about. Some of the items, we know that Egypt don't ship back some of the grains and the shit they got from Nubia. And then we can just look at different things and then we can actually see how it pans out. See why they're saying what they're saying. And we can either agree that it's bullshit or as right as that. That was my whole point.
Nope, you wouldn't let me read it. When I was trying to read what they saying now in the fucking museums across the board, y'all act like the shit wasn't happening. You wouldn't let me read the shit.
I read it for you. I read it.
Yo, listen, man. Like when I talk, I kind of realize when I'm chilling that other human beings are listening to us, right? And there has been a certain narrative that has been portrayed, period, across the board. There has been mistakes made on both sides of the coin. So when I read literature, since I'm familiar, I force myself to be familiar with the reading material in the museums. I love museums. That's my favorite place, right? I love reading the works of curators, those who examine the artifacts. I also enjoy archaeology. So when I run across documents that clearly says that the archaeology and the where's and all that has been misinterpreted, right? I say, wow. And then I listen to lectures, Morgan State, Cambridge, Harvard, Yale, Berkeley. They all say the same thing now. Like artifacts that we once thought was Egyptian really wasn't. It was really Nubian. When we thought there was an outside people coming in, it really wasn't. When we made the statement that quote unquote Mesopotamia heavily influenced, it wasn't even that. That they had a full-grown culture before they ran you into them motherfuckers. When I hear that, right, and I understand the textbooks wasn't given that. And it's not that the textbooks was just straight up racist all along. I mean, you only got what you got. And you got him to interpret the data and the information. So I don't even be trying to play the quote-unquote race card. I'll be simply saying, bro, the running narrative in Egyptology since the 1800s, since Brecht has said a Mediterranean race or an invading race theory, look it up, invading race theory.
No, we keep going back over the same stuff like we've already.
We not keep going back over the same stuff. Because when I think niggas got it, y'all start acting crazy.
But the whole point is that we're not actually looking at the artifacts and seeing what they're talking about. We're not looking to see what are they talking about food. Let's look at some of the. We're not examining that. Instead, we're having a conversation about racism in the early goddamn 1800s and shit. Instead of just looking at the shit for ourselves.
Can I read this? I think this is what Unc his issues is. It's a Egypt-Mesopotamia relations. Egypt-Mesopotamia relations were the relations between the civilizations of ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia in the Middle East. They seem to have developed from the 4th millennia BC, starting in the Uruk period for Mesopotamia, circa 4000 to 3100 BCE, and the half of a millennium younger, the Garrison culture of prehistoric Egypt, 3500 to 3200 BCE, and constituted a largely one-way body of influences from Mesopotamia into Egypt. Prior to a specific Mesopotamian influence, there had already been a long-standing influence from West Asia into Egypt, North Africa, and even into some parts of the Horn of Africa and the Sahel in the form of Neolithic revolution from circa 9000 BCE, that fused advanced agricultural practices and technology, gene flow, certain animals, and possibly Proto-Afro-Asiatic language into the region. Mesopotamian influences can be seen in the visual arts of Egypt, in architecture and technology, weaponry, and imported products and livestock, and also in the likely transfer of writing from Mesopotamia to Egypt, and generated deep-seated parallels in the early stages of both cultures. Period.
What y'all get from that?
That Mesopotamia hooked Egypt up.
That's all I was saying, yo. And Sosa know that shit, man. You know good as well what I'm talking about. He ain't trying to make it seem like I'm just a crazy nigga.
No,
the black owls you to death.
Okay, so you disagree with this is basically what you're saying.
No, I don't. The fucking experts do.
All right. So,
and it's going to take a while, and I'm saying it's going to take a while to change that. What I'm saying is shit just don't change overnight. And that's what we need to understand about time. Just because now parts of Egyptology, right, are now starting to reckon Egypt in its African context doesn't mean the whole goddamn body of Egyptologists is doing it. It doesn't mean that. But what it does mean is that things are starting to change. That they're moving from, moving from thinking people came out the Bible to evolution. Very slow. Remember in 1974, you would think by 1974 everybody was on board with evolution, but they was not.
Oh,
You would think that the Stoops monkey trial didn't have to occur in the 80s, but it did.
Right. But let's get back to the
down in schools. So it's slow. That's all I'm saying. So that right there is not with the up-to-date information.
Well, you know, it got sources in it, right? So
that's fine. So click the source.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, so
let's see.
They got us. It's not going to show on here. Damn it.
Oh, you can't?
No, cause my screen. It's basically they have a comparison of ancient Egyptian art, right? That's a book written by John Wiley and Son. They use page 427 out of that book, and that book was written in 2014. All right. Then they have
2014.
Yeah. Then they have the Dictionary of Ancient Egypt from the British Museum, 1995, page 109. All right, and then let's see, source 4. Earliest Egyptian glyphs. I guess that's the source that's talking about the written language, some of it being coming from Mesopotamia. They using Michelle Larkin, Earliest Egyptian Glyphs, Archaeological Institute of America. And that's 2012, February 2012.
How long ago is that? 12? It's like 10, 15 years, right?
11
years. All right.
All right. And let's see. Let's go to another one. Hold on. All right. Now let's read this. There was generally a high level of trade between ancient Egypt and the Near East throughout the pre-dynastic period of Egypt during the Naqada II period. That's 3600 to 3350 BCE, and the Naqada III period from 3350 to 2950 BCE phase. These were contemporary with the late Uruk, which was 3600 to 3100 BCE, and the Jemdet Nazar 3100 to 2900 BCE periods in Mesopotamia. The main period of cultural influence, particularly consisting in the transfer of Mesopotamian imagery, symbols, and technology to Egypt, is considered to have lasted about 250 years during the Naqada II period to Dynasty I periods. All right. And they have, I think, 4 sources for this. Let's go to the first one. They using the Companion of Ancient History again for the first source, and that was
what year is that?
2014.
All right, just keep giving me the years. All right.
They used that again for the 7th source, and that's the same source, 2014. Let's go to 8. Yeah, okay. 8, they using the conference from William Fox Albright Continental, and that is 1996, the study of the ancient Near East in the 21st century. That's 1996. All right. Now, design and objects. All right. Distinctly foreign objects and art forms entered Egypt during this period, indicating contacts with several parts of Western Asia. The designs that were emulated by Egyptian artists are numerous. The Uruk priest king with his tunic and brimmed hat, in the posture of the master of animals, and the sauropods, winged griffins, snakes around the rosettes, boats with high prows, all characteristic of long-established Mesopotamian art of the late Uric period, which was 3350 to 3200 BCE period. The same priest king is visible in several older Mesopotamian works of art of the end of the Uric period, such as the blue monuments, cylinder seals, and statues. Objects such as the Jebel el-Araq knife handle, which has patently Mesopotamian relief carvings on it, have been found in Egypt, and the silver, which appears in this period, can only have been obtained in Asia Minor. All right, they have a few sources in this paragraph, but they cutting Egypt up bad, huh? They cut.
What's the source though? Which time period?
1996. The
That's what I'm
ancient,
trying to say.
huh?
That's what I'm saying. The field not saying them type of things no more. That's the point. I get it.
So hold
and
on.
I'm not even mad at it.
No. Hold on. So no.
Slow down.
Slow down. So you're saying the sources are not correct about the influences no more. So those things didn't come from Mesopotamia.
Right. I'm saying it's the way you interpret. It's the way you interpret it, yo. Yeah, you know you can interpret it, and that's what science is about.
But
it's
even
about,
it comes from, if the oldest attestation to these things are found in Mesopotamia, they're finding these things in Mesopotamia first, right? And then if they find the same type of things in Egypt at a later, if they find the same type of things in Egypt at a later period, then who do you think? And we know that it was a trade back and forth. So those same people, those different people are going to come up with the same artistic designs on two different continents, like on their own, when we know that they have that they are in contact with each other. And if I find it in Mesopotamia older, and then I find it later in Egypt, you saying that the new scholars is saying that what? I'm out of words, yo.
Good, but I'm not. I'm just getting started. You want to say something?
No, I'm saying like I show me what the new scholars are talking about interpretation, right? I get that, but they're not saying that the dating and the materials found in Mesopotamia later found in Egypt. They're not refuting that type of shit.
Okay, so the Egyptian pyramids gave rise to pyramids in China, pyramids in Mesoamerica and all that.
Bro, why we just stay where we're?
Well, I said it for a reason though, and you know why I said it. So things can appear in different places and have different origins to it. It doesn't have to be that, and it doesn't have to be that. Y'all supposed to know that.
Yeah.
Like it's really possible to have a long-necked. Matter of fact, the giraffes is indigenous, Asia and Africa, right?
They found materials that you can only found in that region, and they found that there in Egypt.
Through trade. I know through trade though, bro.
Okay.
No. And it's not just
about the motifs.
Yeah, it's not just trade. They said that the Egyptian they copied the artistic styles. So it wasn't that they was just importing goods. They actually was creating those same things that they. Yeah.
Okay. I'm with you. So, but y'all do know, right, that you could get a group that actually copied that style, and that wasn't the whole of Egypt.
Facts.
Because it never was that. Right? You can have an African American like me. I got a Buddha statue in my house. Right? That don't mean that the African American was influenced by Buddha. That just means that my particular family like Buddha statues in the house. See, all these things are here for us to understand. And I'm saying they took advantage of that shit because we just ain't realized that shit. And we ran with it so crazy on the other end, well, you know, the Egyptian pyramids influenced all pyramids around the world. Just slap stupid shit, right? So we get as you measure shit, you will be measured, right? As you set a standard in one direction, that shit gonna come right back to you. So all these things we reading, we have overemphasized it to even it up. The same way the whole conversation with Diop, you know, at the conference of saying Egyptians was black, you know what I'm saying? Putting a racial connotation, all right, to Africa and Egypt, which was flat wrong. It just was wrong. And even his wealth of knowledge and evolution, I'm not even sure why he would do that. And it's a little bit confusing to me because I'm thinking that he was thinking or trying to say that African and black was synonymous, like he was using the same way, right? Because in his books he talks about evolution. So if you teaching evolution, talking about evolution, you would not make the mistake in thinking that there was a black race. You feel me? Yeah, so I'm just saying, like, that them artifacts right there could have been found amongst the like y'all do know that an archaeologist could find a Coke can that was kind of chopped in half, and then would interpret it as being the god of the Coke or something stupid like that, right? So I'm just making a point that it didn't have to be those artifacts didn't have to represent what the whole country was doing. It could just represent a family, a clan.
It could have, but I mean, I'm just going to assume that those individuals are smart enough to think of that too. Like if we're just using logic, right? So I'm saying, do you have something that's saying that that's what they're saying now? They're saying that transfers, that Mesopotamian culture that's appearing in Mesopotamia and also in conjunction with Egyptian shit, it's really a one-off. It's just some nigga who had it at his crib, chilling. But it wasn't really what niggas in the Egyptian was going on. Like it wasn't in the normal palette of cylinder seal. That's clay shit, right? So it's in political and propaganda pieces. So do you show me where they're saying like, no, that was just like some one-off.
Yo, the normal palette wasn't a political nothing. It was a makeup thing.
I said it was a makeup piece, but it's propaganda.
No, you said it was political. You said it was propaganda.
I said it's propaganda.
I'm saying a woman. No, dog. I'm saying a woman owned that, bro.
Of course, it's a makeup piece, but sometimes you put propaganda.
No, not a makeup piece. It's something you crush makeup on.
It doesn't. Okay, something you crush makeup on,
Right, nigga. So you ever had shit around your house that got something on it? Don't mean you all political with it.
It doesn't mean you're all political with it, but the fact that it's on the shit that crush makeup with is propaganda because they're celebrating the greatness of their of Narma. So even though it's a clay piece, it's not necessarily. It don't necessarily have to be a political accurate event. It's propaganda, and we already had this discussion and agreed about propaganda.
Okay, so why are you talking about the propaganda in Mesopotamia, though? I'm just asking.
Oh, before everybody get off, so people won't know where we at. Let's finish this. This article. You know what I mean? But I feel y'all. Y'all go back to y'all corners. Y'all doing good. Y'all doing good. I know y'all ready for each other. All right.
Everybody get their water, get their freshen up. Take your break.
Gotta redo that back.
Get ready for round two. It's fire in this place, baby. Chef Freedom.
Yeah, I ain't going hard walk tonight. I can't do it 2 nights in a row.
Round 6. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm tangle.
I can't do it. I got. You know what I'm saying? I'll be like.
No, so you're a little bit different tonight. You're a little bit different tonight, bro.
Because I can't do it 2 nights in a row.
You was horrible at. Thank you. I'm not trying to do it.
Yeah, y'all doing good. Y'all actually doing good, yo.
Yeah,
I got to break y'all apart a little bit so we can get through it. Yeah,
my mouse near the X button, just in case.
Everybody drink some water, chill out, get ready for round 2. Chef, all right. Get ready for round 2, folks.
All right, now in this paragraph, Unc is going to address your main contentions right here. So I think the article is actually being fair so let's get into it. All right, Mesopotamian style art in Egypt, 3500 BCE. All right, red slip spouted pottery items dating to around 3500 BCE in the Nakata II, which were probably used for pouring water, beer, or wine, suggest that Egypt was in contact with and being influenced by Mesopotamia around that time. This type of pottery was manufactured in Egypt with Egyptian clay, but its shape, particularly the spout, is certainly Mesopotamian in origin. Such vessels were new and rare in pre-dynastic Egypt, but had been commonly manufactured in the Mesopotamian cities of Nippur and Uruk for centuries. This indicated that Egyptians were familiar with Mesopotamian types of pottery. The discovery of these vessels initially encouraged the development of the dynastic race theory, according to which Mesopotamians would have established the first pharaonic line, but is now considered by many scholars to be simply indicative of cultural influence and borrowings circa 3500 BCE, although there is an established gene flow from Mesopotamia and West Asia into Egypt. Spouted jars of Mesopotamian design start to appear in Egypt in the Nakata II period. Various Uruk pottery vases and containers have been found in Egypt in Nakata context, confirming that Mesopotamian finished goods were imported into Egypt, although the past contents of the jars have not been determined yet. Scientific analysis of ancient wine jars in Abydos has shown that there was some high-volume wine trade with the Levant and Mesopotamia during this period. Now, you have a whole bunch of sources in here. But right there, that led to people thinking, or postulating that dynastic race theory. I know Unc talked about that before. But the new scholars are saying that they don't rock with the dynastic race theory, that people from Western Asia didn't, start Egypt, but they did trade and it was influence. So go ahead, so saying.
Yeah, right. And that wine, that they didn't make that wine in Egypt. That wine came from that Levant region, and it talks about how they develop a taste for that wine. You know what I'm saying? And that was one of the trick things that they traded for on a regular basis. It's like early as let me pull it up. Let's see if I can share it.
You about to share your screen?
No. Matter of fact, go ahead. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing. Yeah,
right,
yeah.
go
I
ahead,
think you already touched on in that thing with the wine, with the pottery, but also I was just establishing too the wine itself. Mm-hmm. They didn't make that wine in Egypt. That wine came from the Levant region and shit. Go ahead.
So what was they supposed to put this shit in? They would have had no choice but to put it in the shit. But if they made it in Levant, they would have to put it in the shit that they made you know what I'm saying, they pot to ship it in.
Right.
Wouldn't make sense to ship it in a damn Egyptian jar. That's stupid as hell. That's your whole thing, the whole style. Huh?
They're just talking about they're basically though saying like that. I think the main thing that is proven more thoroughly is contact. You know what I'm saying? Like contact. 3,000, 4,000 linear. You know what I mean? So that's what I get out of it.
All right, now they have a whole bunch of sources in here for this. Let's see. Teeter, Emily, Before the Pyramids, The Origin of Egyptian Civilization. They don't even have a date on that book. Well, it's not right here in the source. If I click on it, I can find it. Let me see. It's 2011. All right. Let's see. I think that's the same source.
Hey, but what you're reading though ain't much different than what the World Encyclopedia said outside of significance. You take significant out and it would be going along the same lines of what they were proposing.
All right, they got Cambridge Press, 1987. I don't know. So, y'all want me to continue? All right.
No, I'm saying so. That's the fight. That's the pushback right there. And I think I want to highlight who came up with the invading race theory. Was almost like they call him the father of Egyptology, breasted. Remember, he started the Oriental Institute of Chicago, right? Mm-hmm. So it's all there. So this guy, right, one of the greatest Egyptologists who started the Oriental Institute, he named it the Oriental Institute. Where's the Orient located at? In Asia, right? Like all this is done on purpose. All this is branding. All this is done, and it's taken Egypt out of its proper African context. That's what's really going on. So, and it's not that I'm saying it, it's that that's what the historians are actually saying. The historians say this. I'm not a historian. I'm not an expert. I simply transmit what the experts and historians are saying.
So you saying this article is doing that?
No. I'm saying, no, we were talking about the invading race theory. This
yeah. They said they don't fuck with that.
Right.
This article said that this just proves contact and influence. Yeah, I mean, not that, but it also said that all of the cultural and tangible things that they traded. They also said that, you know, the Western Asians and Mesopotamians also, their genes are found in North Africa and Egypt also. So,
but why wouldn't you find them there if they trading?
Yeah, well that's what. Yeah,
that makes sense. That's part of what him do.
All right. So, adoption of Mesopotamian style mace heads. Then they got cylinder seals. They got other objects. I mean, this is just a repeat of the different things that, you know, category of things that they found in Egypt that was influenced by Mesopotamia and Western Asia. But they right there next to each other. Why wouldn't they? Like, it would be, you know. So, you're saying let's do the same thing for Mesopotamia and see if they say that whether North Africa influenced Mesopotamia. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, go get Mesopotamia. Go get it. And they're going to do the normal shit you're supposed to do. You're supposed to deal with the people around the shit, directly around the shit, and not go 10,000 miles and get some and do that and play that game like that. They're not even going to begin to do it. You know why? Because the whole running thing was that nobody in itself could have ever possibly influenced the great white northern race, because that was the running theme, that the great white northern race actually gave rise to Egypt. And that's why I brought it up yesterday. And once again, y'all threw tomatoes at it. Like maybe I wasn't putting it together right or something. Trying to show you the running thing. And so that particular article tries to change it a little bit, right? Thank you, but not enough. Not enough. Now in 2022, they're really moving towards, like, they want to reorganize artifacts, right? They want to go back. They really saying they need to go back in all the museums because this shit is spread all over the fucking planet Earth now, right? And they were saying, yeah, that's an impossible task. But we need to relook at all the fucking artifacts. So the whole fucking study of Egyptology from its onset,
they just
crazy.
Killed it. That's, oh man.
What?
It says, although there are many examples of Mesopotamian influence in Egypt in the 4th millennium BCE, the reverse is not true.
Right, see? Right.
And there are no traces of Egyptian influence in Mesopotamia at any time, clearly indicating a one-way flow of ideas. Damn, Egypt, phony. I'm done with Egypt, yo. Y'all didn't let me down. Y'all let me down.
Nah, I'm mad. I ain't gonna argue that, bro. I'm gonna chill. Yeah, I'm gonna stay right there.
They got sources in here, though. They got sources, so.
Yeah, get the source. They're gonna be 19. They're gonna be what? Go ahead, read the source. Watch time period. 93. Watch. Go ahead. You ain't gonna see no 2020. 20. You ain't gonna find that. Go ahead.
This is one of their other sources. Let's see where this lead us to. Oh, it lead us to, what's this? Archaeology America, the Archaeological Institute of America. So I guess it come out of this article. I can put it in the back chat for y'all. And it was written, this is 1999. All right. Man. Yeah, that was a blow right there though, y'all.
A blow to who? Not a blow to the well studied.
That's a blow right there, man. That was, man, y'all can go ahead and talk. I gotta get myself together. That was nasty.
So do you think that's real, Sosa? You rock with that, Sosa? Go imagine that, yo.
No, I would say I think
about China trading with the United States, but no influence from the United States and China. Think about that. Like, how hard would that be? How hard is that to trade with a motherfucker for damn near 3,000 years and you take nothing from them? Who the fuck wrote that, bro? That shit don't. Do you realize that Egypt actually ruled the Mediterranean, yo? They ruled that. And you saying they didn't? They're right there. You can read the book. It's called when Egypt ruled the East, bro. So they ruled all the way up to the Aegean.
Yo, I think they just playing with you, bro. They can't be this. I mean, this is what I came on for. I think they really just playing. They cannot be this illiterate. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not even really buying this at this point, man. I just hate the fact that they don't even buy into it because they got to be playing this. I like what I'm saying. So that's what it is. That's fun right now. But nobody believes what they're reading right now. They can't.
Wait a minute. Let's address something, though. So all this time, Bobby Banker has been trying to display how and why scientific racism and other biases have been injected into history, trying to dispel that, but without being spooky or pseudo. There's a fine line with that. But this is somewhat the point or the exercise, you know, when we examine sources and the people that we get the sources from, what were their intentions and different things like that. This will also be a good time to address why we were here. We got caught up on the subject of the deification of the river of the flood, right? Mm-hmm. But there were some other points that were made yesterday or the day before that some people in the chat have been asking about. So let's address them. And those other points have to do with the importance of the Mediterranean. Some people felt that the Mediterranean was deified, or just as important, if not more important than the Nile. That was said, or that premise was made.
Mm-hmm. Corey, click the link.
But
go ahead.
Okay. But, you know, this was like kind of this was like a double-sided, twofold question or a threefold question, because it wasn't just about the deification of the river, but there were other issues or contention. But again, this still goes to, that kind of scientific racism implementation. And we have to be careful of that, even when we're looking at so-called, verifiable sources or academic consensus, because we know they have gotten it wrong, and we got to be careful. And that's sometimes why the Blackology steps in, or things were done, for propaganda and things of that nature, because to combat that. So let's be clear with that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
but Stefan, you gotta. I know you just playing, bro. I know.
I'm that's on Wiki. I just did this in real time. I pulled up. We read.
Okay, let me ask you this: everything you pull up, you believe?
Oh my God, this ain't about.
Hold on, watch it. And do you not understand what Unc is saying? Is when you pull up these sources and they say these things, that argument was made long time ago as to try to suppress the importance of Egypt and trying to put the outside culture over the African culture, even though y'all saying Egypt is not the African culture. I'm pretty sure I don't really agree. I don't really think y'all believe that either. See, what they're doing is they're making the European culture, which is Mesopotamia, the mother of the African culture. Y'all don't see that?
Mm-hmm.
See, so you got to look at what the dynamics of what the game is being played.
I'm not hurt by that, though.
We got what y'all are demonizing.
I'm not hurt by that.
Huh?
I'm not hurt by that.
Well, then why are you arguing for Mesopotamia?
No, I'm saying
because basically, in a nutshell, you're arguing that Mesopotamia is the mother of all civilization.
I'm not. This is what we read, right?
Okay, but what you read, but you read that in opposition to Egypt being the origins of all civilization.
I tried to read both sides, right?
Yeah, it wasn't really
I didn't hear that, bro.
It wasn't really about being the origin of it because both of them had civilization. It just influenced.
Right.
Like you can two civilizations can go up simultaneously, just like Nubia and Egypt were contemporaries. So I'm saying, but you see what I'm saying? So it's just talking about influence. You know what I'm saying? Like we would argue that Egypt influenced Nubia more. Some people argue that Nubia influenced Egypt more, but they still were, civilization that sprouted up, independently. They did their own thing, you know what I'm saying?
I don't think they sprout. Okay, just watch this. I'm gonna ask Chef for this. Okay, now do you know about Nubian? You know about Nubian group A, B, and C, right? You know about that, right?
No, but go ahead.
Okay, well, Nubian A, B, and C predates Egypt, right? So they're using the terms Nubia in groups A, B, and C. But then when Egypt forms, Nubia disappears into the sixth dynasty. So how do they start off being Nubian? The civilization start off with being Nubian, and then they wait another 1,000 years to say anything about Nubians again.
Yeah, but it's not saying that Egypt didn't already have culture and sophistication, right? It has to. I feel y'all.
Yeah, you talking about the origins. I'm just talking about how do you start off with the civilization being Nubia and it being in Nubia where Ta Seti is at, but then when it turns into Egypt, you don't hear about no more Nubian stuff until the sixth dynasty.
I'm just saying we cool with Wikipedia until it don't support our view.
No, this is just what the archaeology says. This ain't even got nothing to do with what Wikipedia is talking about. We're talking about what the documentation is and the orientation that Europeans put on it, because we didn't put this history together. Europeans got here before us, and everything we're reading is what they suppose. So now you got what y'all demonize as Afrocentrics going back and looking over what Europeans did and saying, hey, man, I question this, and this. You're really going against the grain of your own people because you're demonizing them as Afrocentrics.
I'm not
all
demonizing.
These words y'all doing. Y'all this is what y'all doing. Y'all using these words to demonize African scholarship and saying they're just did it in the opposition to what Europeans did.
we read Egypt's Mesopotamian influence on Egypt, right? We read that. Then, to be fair, Unc said, let's see if they, the influences that Egypt had on Mesopotamia, right? And when we pulled it up in that same encyclopedia, they got a paragraph to say that the influence wasn't significant on the other side. We don't see that. Basically, it was a one-way thing.
What Unc is trying to inform you of, if you're going to run into those type of articles because of the prejudice that they placed on the whole thing.
I don't know these people. They might be racist and prejudiced, yo. You might be right.
Well,
Y'all might be right.
So you say you don't know nothing about prejudice?
I'm saying that I don't know these people to be. But if y'all saying that they racist and they pushing a racist agenda, then I will accept that from y'all. That's the reason why the archaeology bears these finds out, or the shit that they find. Hold on, Jane. The shit that they finding on the ground is because of racism. Like the shit that they digging up and finding is because of racism. All right, I'm gonna roll with that. Like, because y'all say it. I have no way to. I don't have no source to say that it's not racism. So,
right, and it would be better if the argument was, no, we actually had that artifact in Egypt or Nubia earlier than that.
Yeah,
like we never. Okay, well then demonstrate that instead of just saying these niggas is racist. You know what I'm saying? We understand racism exists. We understand the order.
Been flipped over to the black side.
I'm saying it's like, let's just deal with the information. Like, we already had enough conversation on Breaston, great white race theory. So now we can just examine the shit for ourselves, and then we can see the certain biases ourselves. And then we can, you know what I'm saying? Then we can make a fair assessment of what's going on. But if we read something, you can't just go, them niggas is racist, and then don't bear any information or any facts to support what they're saying is incorrect.
So Cedric put a joint in the back chat. I'm gonna read it. All right.
So I'm just saying, Chef. So if you look at all the artifacts that between Mesopotamia and Egypt today, who has the most artifacts?
Well, if you got the
info, hold on.
If you got the info, then go ahead and lay it out so we can see it.
So you don't know that it's far more artifacts. The only thing you gotta do is go to a museum, like they keep saying.
Educate us.
You're gonna find 10 times more artifacts from Egypt than you're gonna find from anywhere on the planet. Why?
Educate us,
because Mesopotamia gave it to them. Now listen.
That's right.
No, I'm just messing with you. But all right, Cedric said this is a more balanced article that he put in the back chat, so I'm gonna read it. It says, and this is from study.com. Do y'all accept that? Is that on par with Wiki? Study.com, is that cool? I don't want to hear nobody crying.
Go ahead.
Afterwards, okay.
No, I'm just saying you can read any source, bro, and it can say anything. I'm just saying.
But the thing about this, hold on. The thing about this article, Cedric, I know you probably doing something because you ain't talking. But the thing about this article versus the wiki articles is the wiki articles got sources and links in there telling you where they getting this information from versus this study.com is just straight paragraphs with no sources in it. So not saying that it's not true or that we're not going to listen to it, but I know you understand what I'm saying. But here we go. Compare and contrast ancient Mesopotamia and Egypt. Mesopotamia and Egypt are two of the most famous, influential of all ancient societies. There are many similarities between these Mesopotamia and Egypt, but there are also many differences. These societies rose and fell at different times, had vastly different environments, and wonderfully different and diverse cultures. They both, however, were located in a similar area of the world, had similar social structures, and developed many of the same technological advancements. This lesson will explore Mesopotamia and Egypt as separate societies and as they relate to one another. This lesson will also compare and contrast the ancient societies of Mesopotamia and Egypt. Similarities. What did Egyptian and Mesopotamian societies have in common? Mesopotamia and Egypt were both some of the earliest complex societies on Earth. Mesopotamia emerged as a society roughly 6,000 years ago, located in modern-day Iraq and Kuwait. Mesopotamia means between two rivers. Looking at a map of the area, it is easy to see how this region acquired this name. Situated between two rivers, the Tigris to the north and the Euphrates to the south, the region of Mesopotamia was ideal for the development of agriculture. The river's flooding meant that nutrient-rich silt was deposited into the banks of the river, created a fertile area highly supportive of agriculture. Similarly, Egypt emerged as a society on the banks of a river 5,500 years ago, which would be 500 years later than Mesopotamia. And 3,500 to 3,000 BCE, the people settled along the Nile River began to develop writing and complex religion. Agriculture had been practiced in the Nile River Valley as early as 6,000 BCE to 8,000 years ago. Like the Mesopotamian rivers, the Nile flooded and deposited rich silt on the banks. In fact, this flooding was so important that the ancient Egyptian word for the Nile was or, meaning black. Hold on, let me read that again. Hold on. In fact, this flooding was so important that the ancient Egyptian word for the Nile was or, meaning black, in reference to the dark, rich sediment that flooded the banks with astonishing regularity each year. Located in the most northeastern region of the African continent, Egypt was only separated from the nearby Mesopotamian region by the Sinai Peninsula and the Arabian Peninsula. Okay, now we're about to get into it. Location, river valleys. A common theme among the earliest human societies is their proximity to major rivers. Mesopotamia and Egypt were both situated along the banks of major rivers. The rivers provided vital structure to the creation of early societies, provided fresh moving water, stagnant still water can harbor disease and bacteria much more often than flowing water. Transportation and trade methods, water to support crops, and regular flooding schedules that enriched the soil on the banks and provided nutrients to crops. This shit got my eyes hurting. The Tigris and the Euphrates rivers framed the Mesopotamian river valley. The enriched soil, fresh water, and regular flooding meant that agriculture and development in this region very early. In fact, this area of the world is known as the cradle of civilization. People were domesticating plants and animals in this region very early, and there is evidence of agriculture as early as 12,000 years ago, 10,000 BC. The Mesopotamians grew barley, wheat, peas, beans, apples, figs, garlic, and cucumbers. Similarly, Egypt emerged on the banks of the Nile River, supported by its water and regular flooding. The Egyptians cultivated many crops, including barley, enkron, a type of wheat, lentils, beans, fruits like dates, figs, and grapes. Other crops were introduced as time passed, and the Egyptians had increasing contact with their neighboring regions. Agriculture in Egypt likely began on a large scale around 6000 BCE, but individual farmers and cultivators were probably practicing smaller scale agriculture much earlier. All right. Religion and social structure. How everybody doing? Let's see.
My point is that they're talking more about the simultaneous development of these cultures, which is a point I've been trying to make all the time, that people be humaning all over the world. We talk about influences, but I say they develop the same technologies, the same type of behaviors, and not necessarily influenced by. So at the point that they started to trade, it was pretty much just trade, because people be humaning all over the world. And these modern articles are making that type of point simultaneously, next to each other, not predominantly influenced by.
Yeah, but even when they speak of simultaneously, though, they give you a date.
They influence. You know what I'm saying?
Go ahead,
like both ways, ideas flow both ways. I mean, that's just human. That's just human things. Like it don't matter what word. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's the point I'm trying to make. It's impossible that it's one-sided.
Yeah, but what they was also giving you dates to show, like when one population developed farming, like I think the Mesopotamia was thousands of years prior to.
Watch this.
Just hold on 1 second. Let me finish this before you watch this. Hold on. Right. So when they talk about the trade, see, sometimes what they talk about is that influence is sometimes indirect. The idea spreads, and so sometimes different ideas spread, and that lead to other things popping off. So that's why I was like, we should do a show on farming, so we can see where certain things come from, where certain things originate from, and then we can draw a parallel and get a better understanding of spreading of such things.
Agreed, Sosa. The Mesopotamians had a 500-year approximate jump on their counterparts on the other side of the river of the Sinai, and indeed, so at the point that they started to settle in that region, they've probably been influenced by, and like the article say, they were small scale. Well, when they realized and got into contact with a technology that was way more advanced, they started to really do it on a large scale. Yes, but it was not necessarily that they developed that culture and came over, and because they
nobody's making that argument. Yeah, that's not. That's what I said. Nobody's.
You can even have influence even in the time of war. It's like, for instance, the cherry. The cherry didn't originate in Egypt. It came from the Indo-Europeans, but they made it. They took it and made it their own way. You know what I'm saying? Even when you look at American history, even though we was in the predicament we was in, we still influenced the country. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yeah.
Right. So I think it's like, and I'm open to understanding both ways, but it seems like it's always a contention if you even imply that just people influence other peoples, and I'd be like, I don't see why we argue about.
No, and so that underlying tone again, coming into the community. I keep saying it. I was a Charlton Heston Egyptian dude. If you would have asked me a couple of years ago, before I started watching Star and stuff, where Egypt is at, I would have tell you somewhere in Saudi Arabia, of course, it's over there, because it was completely taken out of Egypt. And then I listened to guys like Alex Jones for years, who would tell you straight up, no, it's Europeans and people from Mesopotamia that developed. No, so I'm saying, when I hear a certain tone and a certain rhetoric, my ear goes up, because I know that underlying tone already exists. So I get Ang's point, and we try to look at it. And when I see something like the influence was one-sided, I go, okay, stop sign. I don't buy nothing I just read.
Well, because I think they also look at how, when one fell, and then when the other one kept going for like thousands of years later, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I think that they're factoring that into the equation too, you know what I'm saying? But I would agree in it being, you know, it going both ways, you know what I'm saying? But they just say significance or little significance, but still influence. They just say not on a large scale.
But see, you gotta also understand that Mesopotamia is a Greek word. That's the first thing you got to interject that off into the equation. I mean, so what were they calling it? So if Greece didn't even have no influence in the inception of whatever these two civilizations was, so it wasn't called Mesopotamia.
I don't understand.
That's the first thing you got to acknowledge that.
I mean, I don't understand the significance in that though.
Because it's not a civilization at the same time that we're talking about. It only becomes Mesopotamia to Greek interject the word.
No, Mesopotamia. I mean, we know about the Sumerians and when they did this shit. This shit started around 4100 BCE, going up until 17 something. Egypt went on after that, continued on after that, and even talk about how the Sumerians, this shit wasn't it was
so
unstable.
we interjecting, what I'm saying is, why we interjecting Mesopotamia when that's not even a real thing into the conversation? Why shouldn't we talk about what the Sumerians or whatever that civilization is, and opposed to what Kemet was at the time,
because
using the real term.
Where are the Sumerians?
Because that's where a lot of confusion is.
And what location are the Sumerians in?
See, that's what I'm saying. Do you know?
Mesopotamia.
See what I'm saying?
Mesopotamia.
Yeah, but we're confusing two things, I guess.
The people in the same time span is what we're talking about. The people who created cuneiform, they wasn't called Mesopotamia. So who would identify those people? And whatever culture that they call that, then we can start from right there. Because I ask people, like, where do you start your history at? People be talking about with the Big Bang and all kind of shit. But you got to start it with writing, because that's all y'all been arguing about this whole time, is what was written and what you can prove. That's the only thing we've been arguing this whole time. Europeans gave us the date of Adam and Eve. We found out that shit was wrong. Now we searching for where the real truth is, where history starts at. This is what this is.
Yeah, well, right.
So let's just simplify this
somewhere
and not make this complicated. Where does history start? It starts with writing.
They both start right around the same time. That's why they don't, you know what I mean? Some people will say, some people say it, but it's right around the same time, so it's not that.
Right, so I would agree with that. But see, that's them conceding to the point to where we've been trying to push back. But at first, what they were saying was Mesopotamia was the origin. Then you get the pushback from the people like Dr. Clark and our people.
Right, but
now they conceding and saying, well, okay, now it's at the same time. They ain't gonna never concede and say, oh, Africa was first. Let's see them do that. But they're not gonna do that. So now they're gonna shift the goalposts and say it's about the same time. But then you go and find some stuff that predate them, and then y'all don't even acknowledge it. It's crazy.
It predates them, but why don't so it's best for us to not start the information base in the 80s and the 90s. We just pick it up in the 2000s, the 15, the 20, the 20, and we start from there, right?
I tend to
where do you find
contend
the
that
oldest mathematical evidence at? Where do you find that at? Do you find it in Mesopotamia, or do you find it in
contribute that to Egypt?
I mean, not Mesopotamia, whatever that area is.
The papyrus goes to Egypt, but I mean, they had to have some type of form.
We established that. We can get rid of that. So when you find the oldest medical evidence, where do you find that at? See, that you can just knock this out real easy. Where do you find it?
But on the same
what about
thing,
evidence? That don't count no more?
at the same time, the 12-month calendar and the 60-second came out of Mesopotamia. You know what I mean? So we could argue back and forth about these things, but for me, like, history goes a little bit further back because we got more tools now. We got archaeology, we got DNA. So we understand that these people were in close proximity. There's movement back and forth. We dissected the fact that the blackest of Sudanese has a high ratio of Eurasian in them. We're growing in understanding. Some of us are catching up. Some of us are learning new information. And I am not a blackologist. I just like to put things in its proper context and flush information out. And a lot of this I don't know. So I'm just engaging in the exercise. What we're trying to iron out is, and I get your point, is they ain't gonna never acknowledge who came before, and the came before stuff, that those arguments could go both ways. But what we need to take out of the equation, for example, my personal gripe with hearing the word Mediterranean culture comes with the baggage of knowing there is a context in which there is a sentiment that the African, authentic African culture could not have been developed without the intellectual influence from the Mesopotamian and the Eurasian cultures. Now that is what irks me when I hear Mediterranean culture. That's a bias that I have, so I have to deal with it. How you deal with it is by laying down the information, and let's see if that statement holds true. Is my bias confirmed? Is it correct? And we go through the exercises. This is pseudo killers. They ain't got no holy grails of me.
Right. I agree with that, Drake. But let's get it clear. Like, we throw these terms around because I see it in the chat. Someone just called you a blackologist. It was Hutch. Yeah, I'm gonna call it out. It's not that, but again, when we're going through the information, we gotta be careful and mindful. And again, if we sound like we're blackologists, then so be it. I mean, biases have already been set aside. So it's kind of like you gotta counter that bias with equal intention, not to be wrong, but until we get to the truth and know better, at least. So, you know, let's be careful with like the labeling and name calling. There's nothing wrong with asserting our presence or, you know, reveling in ourselves first. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think as Black people, African Americans, however you label yourself, we need to get that shit out of our heads. We don't have to be kumbaya all the fucking time. We can just be Black and African. We can be very proud. We don't have to romanticize our shit. But damn, like, I'm gonna go for me first. That's all I'm saying. I'm gonna be team African, Black African first. Period.
Yeah, like, but these words that they're using, like, it's like the hotels, the Black Islands, they're using all of this to get you away from your history. That's what they don't understand, what those words mean. You might not understand it today, but these words grow. And then they'll just like woke. When we first started out with woke, that meant knowing your history in the chronological order. These white folks and took this and demonized it and made it mean all kinds of shit that it never originally meant. So when y'all start out with these hotel words just playing or whatever, it's serious, bro, because you can cast spells on your people.
I don't know what
they'll take that and then run with it, bro. They be Christians though. So if you're a Christian, you historically lost. But you'll use that to fight and stay a Christian because you see bad behavior within this community. So we got to be mindful because just like Unc said earlier, people are listening. Like, this ain't no game. I don't know if y'all think this is funny.
Hold on, bro. The Hotep really springs out of the fact that you had a large scale African Americans pretty much declaring themselves ancient Egyptians. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of where the Hotep concept come from, and pretty much really disregarding West Africa.
No, it didn't, bro. That's what it came out of. Tariq Nasheed. This is what it came out of.
Hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
Hold on. Before Tariq Nasheed didn't invent the term. He just said what other people were saying. You know what I'm saying? But when I first came across YouTube, I had no idea. But everywhere you look, even in my Facebook friend, most of them got Egyptian names. You know what I'm saying? And that's where that type of mindset, I mean, that type of thinking came from. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you got to take it from the inception of when that happened. See, this shit is crazy because like people like us, we didn't grow up with the internet. But if you've been paying attention to how it all came about, it starts with SETI. Now, see, that's what you really have. That's when you start seeing people change their name over because they were disregarding those other
religions. You think General SETI started the Egyptian name shit?
Yes.
Nigga, hold on. First of all, Dr. York was way before SETI, bro. But
people was not interested in people. Dr. York was isolated. I'm talking about all over the country.
No, he wasn't. Dr. York was in all over. He was New York, all the way down to goddamn.
Where you from? Watch this. Where you from?
I'm from Charleston, but I live in Atlanta. I've been in Atlanta for a while.
You from Charleston? Where?
South Carolina.
So maybe you might have known about him, but I'm in Texas, and we didn't know nothing about no Dr. York down here. Never heard of him.
Yeah, people in New York did.
I know. That's what I'm trying to say. So this is regional.
And you go to wAD-wr. wAD-wr had a damn.
But check this out. All of these religious ideologies, really, when you just sit back, if you observe the 10-year analogy of this, it all comes out of New York. The Moore Science Temple, the 5%, all of this stuff is coming. It's all false history. You got to just pay attention to how this shit, these people are using it as a con. But then when you start trying to find the true history and get out of the games that's being played, you run into all these type of people. This is just like a rites of passage until you find your true history. But the only thing that you can go on from what Dr. Clarkman said is documentation and chronology. That's the only thing you got. So if it ain't nothing that we can document, have touch and see, you got to discard it. If it ain't something that has some type of chronology on it, you have to discard it. If it's something that white people said, you have to use skepticism, and if they say it, Arabs too. These are your enemies.
Skepticism, anybody said,
you gotta look at it with a fine-tooth comb.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who it is. I look at
even your own people, even your own people, if they indoctrinated with the wrong information.
Yeah, I'm skeptical. Yeah, you're supposed to start off as
skepticism is the fundamental position.
You start
I
off as
don't agree with nothing you say. I don't agree with nothing you say. We're gonna have to go through the exercise, and there is nothing going through the exercise. And I appreciate some of the harder positions that is taken on the pseudo killers because it just makes us go through these exercises. Don't ever think that anyone on this panel holds a certain position. We just position ourselves a certain way. Like Chef read what he read, and he's gonna double down. Yep, I agree with it. Show and prove. It's gonna make us go a little deeper. We're gonna have to go through that exercise now of what Sosa wants. Let's quantify that shit. Let's see what went well. It just forces us to go through the hard work, and the information is there. We just gonna go through the disciplines and put things together, put archaeology together. Then Amid is gonna come on here. He's gonna break down the genetics once more. We're gonna get closer and more understanding so that we can filter out the noise. It's just an exercise, and sometimes it's tedious, but it's an exercise. I appreciate these stuff.
Yeah, I'm saying like they listed the some of the influences that went Sumeria to Egypt. So now y'all can say, okay, now y'all can present the cultural influences from Egypt to the other direction, and then we can hear that out. You feel me? We're just trying to tease through the information. I think it's better when it's slowed down, when we can actually we don't just we can't just dismiss everything from racism. We got to analyze it ourselves and see where some of the contention lies and if it's accurate or not. We can't just say, nah, they're racist. No, I mean, just because it's something that we don't necessarily agree with.
You could say that though.
Yeah, I'm saying let's examine it before we just, you know what I mean, just dismiss everything. You feel me?
No, but I first of all, again, I'm no blackologist. I just want to understand things in its proper context And sometimes I might take the blackologist position. Like when we went into the whole Nzinga battle, I was pure blackologist. No Africans were forced into slavery. I got my ass whooped. I took my licks and I readjusted my position and we move on. Like we grow. So there's no hard positions anywhere, especially from me. But putting things into proper perspective, like this whole Egypt debate on what the color was, I'm like, okay, so I had it right all along. Okay, good. We just confused in what this definition of black is, and we are never going to conclude on what that definition is. So it's going to remain ambiguous, but I understand pretty much what the Egyptians look like. I'm not going to even have that debate anymore. But in terms of now, we have another discussion. What was the influence and who? This is one of these discussions that Lion Alex should come on and state his position, because he contends that the ancient Sumerians influenced the Egyptians.
But we already had the sources that Chef read that was laying out the position of it coming from that direction. So now it's time for the people that's saying that's incorrect to lay out the other argument going the other way. Just that simple.
Okay. Yeah, so let's get Garfield on here. Let's get Wu Jiao, Ankh. Let's get these arguments going, so we can flush this debate out once and for all, because it's been happening for too long. Whether the Sumerians influenced the Egyptians in their writing form, or vice versa, although. We got to get Mr. Chuck Morgan on here too, because according to my understanding, the Sumerian cuneiform was developed in isolation and had no influence either way. So
we can go with the experts with the writing. The experts give it independence. Because we can stay right there.
Yeah, but I guess when I say these guys, because again, they're communicators, so they can communicate that information in a way that it is palatable, because they've made these subjects their own. I mean, I ain't gonna trust Zion Lex too much, but I want to hear his position in a forum like this, where the brakes are on. It's not about religion. It's more about a scientific analysis. We want dates. We want these type of things, and we just slow the conversation down.
Yeah,
but it's one to have now. Chef brought up that new debate. Thank you, Chef.
Yeah, all Zion Lex got to do is say, I'll just rock with what Chef presented. You don't even got to go no further. You can just stand with that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? But I just feel like let's examine it.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's what Uncle Smash presented the other way and show the cultural influence from Egypt on Mesopotamian art, and buildings or whatever they food, or you know what I mean, just lay it out.
Okay, so the pseudo killer bad boys you stand by the article you just read, which concluded that the influence was only in one direction. Chef, you standing behind the article or the main conclusion?
Can the article be like placed in the back chat or shared in the chat?
Yeah, Chef got up.
What is the source, and are there other sources? Are we just using this one singular article?
Well, this article is well sourced as to how they come to their position. So it's a good one. And they make a hard conclusion that we can now have a point of contention and a subject to debate and flush out. So the contention is that the Mesopotamian culture single out one-sidedly influenced the Egyptian culture, and there is no reciprocity in that entire process.
All right, peace. What's Smash on the building? What's good, Smash? What's good with your family? You heard what Chef laid out on Happy?
Nah, I'm hella late. I'm gonna have to watch from the beginning of the show before I can comment, but I'm just supporting, so I'm here.
Yeah. So do you have examples of the influence of Egypt on Mesopotamian culture?
You know, that would, like they said, that probably would be a good topic for us to handle as a whole topic, because I would prepare, and then the people with Mesopotamia influence could prepare, and then present our things. Offhand, I could cite a few things, but it won't be abundant enough to make a case right now. But I would just say I'm one who's willing to conclude that influence happened both ways, but not in the magnitude that old Egyptologists formally act like it was all coming from Mesopotamia. You know what I'm saying?
But what would
Yo,
you?
can I add on?
Go ahead, bro.
They got wiki sites that y'all can look up that shows Egypt and Mesopotamia cultural exchange. It goes both ways. Also, you really only see this Mesopotamian influence in artwork in the Naqada period, in the second half of the Naqada period, into the other half of the Naqada period, when you really start to see it. But then when Narman unified the land, you start to see a lot of customs kind of blend and blur and become distinct from what they got from them. They had this is what I debated Zion Lex about, because he was trying to say what was a civilization, and their components makes up a civilization. And for the people, like, we have to understand, with the old school, with what they used to say, they go backwards and forth on who's older between Mesopotamia and Egypt. It's not consistent. They go backwards and forth on that. You got a whole bunch of dynasties prior before that that's not even talked about. Dynasty 0 with other populations before the Naqada. You have the Badarians. Before the Badarians, you got a whole lot of other stuff going on way before you see it in Mesopotamia. Not to mention, people in the Nile Valley and people in North Africa and people in the Near East have been exchanging genes and culture for over 23,000 years. When then people bring up the Sumerian thing, and they forget the Sumerians were also influenced by the Proto-Ubaid people. They were also influenced by a population before they even migrated into the land of Ur 6,000 years ago. So that's a whole nother story. You got to get into the detail of Mesopotamia too, because it's a diversity even amongst them in that area, especially those Neolithic Iranians, the people from the Persian Gulf, populations that was in kinship to the Harappa civilization. There's a whole lot of stuff going on.
Ain't that what I said would happen? Ain't that what I said would happen? And Gozi would come in here and clear it up. Thank you. Thank you. I'm here.
But we were saying that's kind of what we was touching at. We were just saying, let's lay out the argument going in that direction.
Yeah, then we have to look at the language family. According to Gunter Dreyer, the words that was used with the writing for Metanetta happened before what they said, or what we call Metanetta, 300 years prior to what they thought. So Gunter Dreyer was one person that was going against the Mesopotamia thing when it comes to writing, but that doesn't disregard the cultural genetic exchange, because the Sumerians are something totally different that was in that Ur area before they got there. So it's a lot of stuff even over there. Linguistically, these people are not the same. You know, one speaks Afro-Asiatic, another group of people speak a language isolate. And then when you look at the modern Egyptians, they couldn't have been dominated by no other group of men, because they're paternally indigenous to that area, and that's been consistent for the last 28,000 years. They have a clade of EB12 under EM78, which is consistent in that area. They don't. What Mesopotamian people had when you go to the further portions of the Near East, not the Levant, not the Arabian Peninsula, the further portions of the Near East near Iran and Iraq. They're genetically different.
Yeah, that P2 tied them all to Africa, yo. That P2 tied them all to Africa.
It definitely does. But
so let me throw this in here real fast. I'm saying with Sheffield and Red, I don't gotta argue that, because they actually proved my point. I said read the Mesopotamian shit and let's see if they say Egypt influenced that, and they didn't do it. It wouldn't even make no sense. Like people to come on the show, like Gozi, we influence each other, yo. So if you fucking with a motherfucker, you gonna influence each other back and forth. It don't make sense for me to sit here and say I influenced Ngozi, and he has never influenced me over the last 7-8 years. That shit sound crazy. So for 200 years, y'all traded back and forth and no influence. So you trying to tell me China has never had no type of influence on the United States, or the United States has had no influence on China? This shit is flat stupid, and it's stupid right in front of our face. right? Watch this. How can Mesopotamia be around a superpower so much, right, that it only influenced the superpower, but the superpower never influenced it? This shit sound retarded.
Then is a quote total phony.
And I think, and also to add on, these modern Egyptian people are descendants of the ancient Egyptians. They are Africans, and some of these modern Egyptian people will get upset if you tell them that they're African. Not all of them.
See, when we say modern Egyptian people, is misleading. Not accusing you of anything, but some people think when you say that the Aswanian, the darker skinned Aswanian, ain't included. You know what I mean?
Likes it. I mean, as far as a lot of North Africans don't like it. They don't like to see some blacks embrace their shit, but Black Americans made it hot. Black Americans influence a lot of shit, even in our captivity. So, I mean, a lot of them weren't even thinking about their ancestral homeland. Not saying that they're not them, but they wasn't thinking about that because they're Arabized in culture, ethnically. They have their own thing going on. So what I'm saying is but I'm not saying that they're not that. So you get people upset, but they're still Africans, regardless of what they look like.
I think that the anger comes from the fact that they will deny North Africans and call them foreigners, bro. That's what a contention is. They deny the North Africans, just label them Arabs.
So here's the thing, though, King.
Enough time in case they need to override a potential government.
Go ahead a minute.
Mike went down.
Yeah, that's just the whole. That's what he was saying. I was like, that's real though. We do see that. We can't act like that shit don't happen. It does.
But on the other side of that, you don't think no Arabs came in and mixed with the Egyptians?
Yes, but it's there. But out of Somali speaking, it's low. It wasn't enough to affect the overall population. Like if you look at the genetics, it's only at 15%, and then what you do have there, the higher component is Turkish DNA or Mongoloots that was also brought there. But overall, out of Somali, the people are indigenous. So mixing happens. It's the proximity, it's the area. Mixing is going to happen, and not to mention the Arab wouldn't be that genetically far off in some layers of his DNA than a North African, because the Middle East and North Africa exchanging genes for over 30,000 years.
So let me say this though. Why is it that a land, right? Watch this, in Mesopotamia and Sumer can influence Egypt dramatically, but its next door billion-dollar superpower neighbor, right, miscalled Nubia, don't give it no influence? It's a bunch of bullshit, bro. Like I'm saying, these niggas is on the river chilling back and forth, yo. Like I got this chick, yo, and she lives 200 miles up that motherfucker. It's gonna take me 3 days to walk up that bitch, and I'm fucking with her. Like it's the most preposterous idea that I've ever heard of in my life. And once you start reading and studying and understanding archaeology, yo, you see the pure 100% racism that was brought forward. It don't make no sense. Where is the whole article talking about Nubia influence on Egypt based off of trade? Based off of, where's that at?
Hey, I want y'all to be.
I think we have to go to that. I think that's in the encyclopedia. But in your in the shit that you got from the museum, what was some of the things that they laid out in terms of Egyptian influence on Mesopotamia? Do you remember it? Or?
No, their emphasis wasn't on no influence. The emphasis was on the origin. The emphasis was on the trade within Africa, Ethiopia, Somali, shit that we never hear. Punt is really Somali. You can look at the walls. Smash did a whole show on Punt. You know what I'm saying? You can pull up the shit. That's fucking Somali. Fucking what's her name? Goldie, the fat queen. What's her name, yo?
Queen Ati.
With the fat legs, got the big legs.
Yeah, Queen Ati. That was Punt. She was
That's
real
what they
big.
call her. What was the other word?
AETA. I mean AETI. Queen Ati. That was Punt.
You
Eritrea.
you can see a picture of it, yo.
I get the Nubia. I'm asking, what did they lay out that Egypt gave to Mesopotamia specifically? What was some of the things? You say they didn't deal with that.
Hey, Sosa, I'm gonna try to.
You say they didn't deal with that. They didn't deal with that.
They weren't even concerned with that.
All right, for sure.
After Gozi, I got a few things for you.
Go ahead. I was just trying to get clarity.
There's a wiki link, I think, and it says culture exchange between Egypt and Mesopotamia. They definitely borrowed things from one another. They definitely did.
Of course. I'm not. Yeah, I wouldn't even. That's not. Yeah.
So, but one of the things to feel, one of the things we gotta notice, we got to keep track how we be switching up a little bit. Initially, we were talking about a general, more Asiatic influence on Egypt and stuff. Let's think about it. Mediterranean, we was talking about. We switched from Mediterranean to Mesopotamian, and we gotta take note of that. That we have done that. And first, because if we have in the Mediterranean argument about influence, all we see when it comes down to, let's just go into the architecture. You know what I mean? It's all Egyptian architecture, all the buildings, every ancient building, not every, I don't want to be absolute, but majority of the ancient buildings they find along the Levant are Egyptian architecture. You see what I mean? And so, but when we go into the Mesopotamian area, I don't know how much remains. They don't even got they got like a ziggurat, 2 or 3 ziggurats left over, but it's not enough left to even really be comparing that civilization to Egypt, but yet they do it because of where it's located.
I mean, the people in Mesopotamia definitely had certain things that was, the metals, the iron. You can see them dealing with wagons, the wheel, certain customs that was unique to them that was beneficial. And the same thing with the Nile. Before you had a pyramid, you have something called the mastaba, and before that, you have something in the Sahara called tumulis, which is indigenous. Think about this Mediterranean thing. I don't trip over it because the Mediterranean is shared with multiple continents. That includes the eastern part of the Mediterranean that touches Turkey, Southern Europe, and also North Africa. There's distinction even amongst the Mediterranean, even though there's a lot of similarity because there has been a lot of genetic and cultural exchange with those regions for a long time. I think that the element, though, about the ancient Egyptian thing is that the Egyptian culture is something that comes from the interior portions of their country, just like the ancient Italics or the ancient Greeks. They all have things that comes from the interior portions of their countries before they meet up at the bark of what they're classifying as the Mediterranean.
All right, somebody whip out a Mediterranean temple, some architect, some archaeology. Show me a Mediterranean monument. You could go to any of the Mediterranean cultures. Show me a Sumerian temple real quick. Somebody Google Sumerian temples. That shit ain't there. Show me Akkadian temples. You might have 1 or 2. I think it's a ziggurat in Tanana. But and when you look it up, it's gonna be a little piece of dirt. You know what I'm saying? Like literally.
The materials that they were using to build those some of those the pyramid that they built in Egypt. What location did they get?
Okay. Now, let me answer that. So you can look this up too. They got the bricks from coming all the way from Sudan, bro. Look up how was the bricks used.
Yeah, I'm sure some come from Ethiopia, and then we got.
But the limestone came from the Mediterranean too. We got different directions.
Yeah, it came from multiple. Right, it came from multiple
they
directions.
Call it the lapis, the lupus lazuli, or some shit like that.
The lapis lazuli came from the Oxum River next to Pakistan and Iran.
Right.
So there's a lot of shit going on.
Right.
So like when we do, we could go 1 for 1. I ain't gonna start with nothing big like the Pyramid of Giza. I'll just say the Temple of Efu. You know what I mean? I'll say something just like Philae or anything. Ipit Asut. These are all temples that are still remaining. Somebody throw out any of them from Mesopotamia.
No, I wouldn't do
that. The thing about the Mediterranean, it has multiple flavors from different. Some things don't have it. They have been changing diet, grapes, wine, but far as building structures, all of it's unique in its own way. They all just touch that bark there. So I definitely feel where Brother Smash is coming from. But I also feel where we have to accept the diversity of the Mediterranean and ancient culture, or what we're classifying as the
Right.
Mediterranean.
So Cedric, he threw out that the Mesopotamians had clocks before Kemet, but they don't have
the calendar.
Yeah, the calendar. But so are you saying that calendar is older than the mathematical papyrus? And if someone has the ability to do math, how can you have a calendar without any math?
Yeah, but I mean, you just look at when the calendar was dropped. You know.
No, what I'm asking is the mathematical papyrus older than these so-called calendars that they have? And I'm also asking,
how old is the mathematical?
How can you create a calendar if you don't have mathematics? That's my question.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they both had some form of math in order to build. They had to be working.
Math comes from measurement.
Yeah, you gotta measure shit. Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, do they have any because the oldest mathematical evidence that we have is from Kemet, right? But what I'm saying is, if that's the case, and they have the oldest calendar,
mathematical
how can you have a calendar without mathematics? And if the mathematical evidence that we have in Kemet older than this calendar that they have? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah. So first you're making a false dichotomy where none is necessary. What I was indicating is that when we look at who did what first, we're gonna find something that are evidently first on one side compared to things that are evidently first on the other side. So that argument, I don't really use it. That was the point I was making. As to your point, observation, simple, 1, 2, 3, 4 is the basic way in understanding, counting the moon, developing a 30-day calendar, etc. That process is merely by observation. On the other hand, to develop, integrate mathematical compositions, which I do contend that the Egyptians had first, it's another subject all by itself, and an equation which I didn't make and would give full credit to the Egyptians for having developed earlier than another civilization. Just off the top of the head, I may be wrong, but I would, at this point in time, I would agree with that argument, meaning to say that it is not one that was in contention from my statement to begin with.
Yeah, but see, it's not necessarily. Yeah, it's just like the mathematical papyrus, like 1550 BC, right? But like it's not necessarily sometimes who did what first, because sometimes people do shit independently without, you know what I mean? So we have to look at, you know what I'm saying? We have to examine and see, you know what I mean, borrowing.
It's definitely, but we do know that the Sumerian, that cuneiform that they developed, which was very complex, was based off goat and grain hooks. It was mathematical itself. If you look at the language, that's why the Akkadians took it from them, because the method that they were using to deal with goat hooks and grains was based off addition and subtraction. If you really look at it, math is, writing is money within itself. So definitely there has been, man don't stop. I mean, you find the first Homo sapiens dealing with the cycles of like the brother was talking about moons with the Shango bone in interior portions of Africa way before that. So adding addition or taking away and adding on is something that Homo sapiens been doing since we've been dealing with our cognitive skills of how we function. And I'm sure the brothers in the Near East or those humans in the Near East had a complex way of doing things, because the Sumerians had a very complex element of writing. Even the Akkadians took that from them. Even when the Almana letters were being written, it stretched back so far that the Semitic speakers was writing to Akhenaten in cuneiform backwards and forth in Almana letters, which shows how influential it was in the Middle Eastern world from a people that were not even Semitic.
Right, and with all the language, right, it starts from counting. The language starts from counting. So, you know what I mean? So when they develop language, they already are developing a math simultaneously or before the writing, because the writing springs up from trying to keep track of who owe what, how much of what we got, inventory and shit like that.
Correct.
Writing is math, pretty much.
Yeah, when you look at those pre-dynastic, according to Gunter Dreyer, how them people in the Nile or Egypt had them skin tags, those coins, they was already on their own skill.
Right.
So it's beautiful when you really look at it.
Right. So I think the conversation, like I like it. It's been a way more smooth out. Like I said, I like when it rolls out like that. We get we get to hear a lot of information. You know what I'm saying? Like shit, it's been pretty cool. And like I said, with the Smash gonna lay out the argument the other way. We're gonna get Smash time to put everything together. Rehear what Chef laid down in terms of Happy. Because he also challenges Budge's interpretation. So yeah, man. So
but how about we talk?
But just to be fair, if you look up God of the Nile, it will also say Happy. Just to be fair.
Yeah, I mean we got.
We should talk about the newness. I don't know. I can't say what we should because this is y'all's show.
No, we right.
I think one day we should embrace the newness of our culture and what we have become as our own ethnic group in the new world. All Western Sudanic Creole people, whether you're from the Caribbean or
yes,
America, we have gained a lot of new elements to represent what we are. America is only 271 years old, and from the Latin and the Caribbean portions, it's even older. And I think that we should embrace the new setting of what we are and talk about the newness of what is. It's a beautiful thing. It's all part of the human story. We have a story in the diaspora.
The Neo-Atlantic African Creole. That's what we call it in teach one groups.
That's pretty right.
Much. Danny and Rob Warren, that is the focus, is to discuss that and deal with that. But we have to deal with these subjects because the community is hung up on it and we are paralyzed. So until we can disagree and be mature enough to move forward, we have to address it. It is what it is. But that's the trauma too. Traumatic stress disorder or syndrome right there. So
it's a very sensitive subject. Whenever we bring it up, and for example, I make the claim that although I appreciate my African heritage, I am firmly a distinct, a new, evolved subspecies. I'm a Caribbean man. I'm different. That argument is taken as not being true to Pan-Africanism. I'm not embracing Africa. You see, there you go again. I'm distancing yourself from Africa. Listen, let's be honest. Like I keep saying, my girlfriend, she's been to Ghana. She's as black as they come. Natural hair. They look at her and know she's not native. And just as much as she can look at a Ghanaian and know, okay, yes, I can identify, but there's something distinctly different about me. As a matter of fact, in the Caribbean, we can distinguish each other from islands. We can watch someone and say Dominica, St. Lucia, Jamaica, Haitian, Dominican. We can do that. We all black alike. But there's tones, there's textures. I can tell you, oh, that lady, she's from Curacao. There's tones, there's textures that make us unique and distinct, and we're scared to have that discussion as if we're not wanting to be African anymore. And that's not true. That's not just. Like I keep saying, I dance to the tambu. We have a African dance that we do every year, which is the Panam dance, which was the liberation slave dance. Like we do that as part of our culture. Our kids learn it. Like we firmly rooted in who we are as African. But we are.
So did y'all just make that up, or that's coming from y'all history from somebody way, way back that said that this is y'all history? Where did y'all get that history from? To know that y'all have to do this celebration of African celebration?
No, it's not an African celebration. It was the celebration. It was the traditional movement, the drums that were used. It's been carried on from the end of slavery back in the 1800s. It's never died. In Curacao, they have something called Sewu, which means the harvest. in which the drums come out, and it's a traditional African harvest dance. It never died. It's just embedded into our culture, and we reenact that, firmly rooting us in our connection to slavery, the moment of liberation, and what we become since. So there's no disconnect, but there's still an acknowledgement of different.
Because just like when you even though you have something that originates one place, you're gonna add your little nuance to it.
Facts.
So you're gonna make it your own. You're gonna have some borrowing.
Yeah, the expressions in the dance are very old English. And like Master, my emancipation, they come, Master leave us go. So it's very old, but it's English because that is what was spoken at 300 years after. We didn't speak any traditional African language anymore. So it's in that texture, but it's still a link to that history where we come from. And it's with the drums, the African drums. So that connection is still very much alive in our bones. However, if you ask me what I am, I'm from St. Martin. I am Caribbean black man.
And it's just like with our Gullah Geechee brothers. Like all of us, most of us are mainland Creoles, mainland Gullah. The ones especially that went from the ports of South Carolina. But then we got the what's the name Creoles from Virginia. So the thing is that the creolization of what we represent in the New World is what it is. A lot of our Gullah ancestors still retain a lot of the African customs compared to some other groups that don't. But we got different vernaculars of even English. They call it AAVE, African American Dialect English, or vernaculars of English, based off of that we're. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Yeah. Or called Ebonics.
Yeah. Or yes, even beautiful Ebonics. People make fun of it, but that's our dialect. Even
yeah, we just use the language different.
Yeah, people belittle soul food, even though it did come from what it came from. But open up a soul food restaurant in Ghana and see how rich you get. You know, that's like what I'm saying is it's a lot of beauty in what you are and what you form, even though, you know, it was chaos and it was hell, but you were resilient, and your resilience showed the strength of Africa in the New World. It's a beautiful thing, yo.
Yeah, a certain aspects of that culture survives so deep that it's so rooted in me that I don't even know that it's African anymore. It's just part of who I be, like plantain and okra. Like, like how you mean like that? That's Caribbean food to me. I don't have no necessarily the links back to Africa unless I studied it and realized, yeah, tamon that grow here in the Caribbean is a fruit that was brought over with us. That's just part of my culture. It grows right here, but when I study the history, now I can link it back and understand and say, okay, we brought this stuff with us, but it's just endemic to who I be right here.
Yeah, yo, we some powerful people in the diaspora. You got to admit, the African gave the New World its flavor. From the Caribbeans all the way to North America. I'm not making fun of the natives. I'm not making fun of the Elwaks or the Tainos or different groups, but it's the sub-Saharan Africa that gave the New World its flavor, and I'm gonna embrace that.
You're playing out. Like you can't deny it though. Like just take a pause and if we would stop and appreciate our cultural impact from being the lowest on the totem pole and even back then to now. I cannot relate to terminologies that label me weak. Despite the circumstances, I'm able to see that bigger picture. Like, what? Like, did y'all really know some of the greatness that came out of people that were not supposed to?
Yeah. And I think that's the reason why we do put a heightened look on Egypt or Egyptomania, is because if we weren't so focused on Egypt, wouldn't we be more focused on West Africa, which most of us do, you know, derive from, and that greatness? Like, there's still like uncovered mysteries, civilizations that they're just now discovering with all this technology and sonar that they can do from the sky, and things of that nature. So there's a lot to still be discovered, but, like we should be focused more on that. I understand that the focus is not so much because, there's not a lot of archaeological evidence as it is in Egypt. And that's another thing why we hang on to that, because we have something tangible to, look at and hang on to. Whereas some of these other cultures, which a lot of West African is more oral, you have some relics, but you don't have a lot left there, or it has been destroyed or disappeared over time. But, that's why we do this, but it's also to move the focus to West Africa and other great parts of African culture or civilization. And once we start to focus on that, I think we'll be okay and a little bit more balanced.
Yeah, for me, and I like what Robon is doing and what they do over there in truth, because even with West African and all, I'm more of the focus on us. Because that's not clouded in mystery. We got that history is there. It's easy for us to ascertain, and we know that, and our plight when we got here is a story unto itself once we arrive. So I feel like, the story with us, even though it begins in West Africa, our chapter should start, the first chapter should start with the African American. After we land here and build forward, because we got so many records, we got so many greats, that are looked over, that we should be embracing and moving forward in that direction. And then once we get strong enough, as ourselves, then we can reach out and extend that to other people. But I'm of the mindset that will rob on them, because they really specifically deal with African American history. That's really what they deal with specifically. And
Juneteenth stories and breakdowns, with the way they break it down, man, I love how Truth does it. So smooth, so nice. I love it.
Yeah. But like I said, we'll come. We're working our way. We're working our way through it. You know what I'm saying?
But I really think what we do on this channel is we teach proper methodology, and we tackle the big mysteries, the stuff that keeps us spooky, and we tackle them one at a time. And once we do that, the way in which we approach West Africa will be a little bit more scientific, more grounded in reality, and our ability to analyze the information for what it is and leave it for what it is. We tend to drift too quickly off into wanting to make things more than what they are, and that's where good conversations get stuck. So I'm gonna say this: instead of I have had the opportunity to really get an opportunity to learn what did the Dogons conceptualize, how did they actually do it, and delve into their mindset. Just as a people, we end up having to deal with false equivocations, trying to equate science with mythology, and go into that whole exercise when we were not able to now get to truly understand what they believed, how they conceptualized, what kind of traditions they had, some of the dances that they did, the masks that they wore. We could have gotten into a real anthropological discussion of the Dogons. Instead, what we end up doing, cracking out the science books, again having to prove you cannot equate these two subjects, you can't do this, you can't do that, and then we went down the whole complete wrong trajectory. In contrast to the Nzinga discussion, for example, which was did West Africans or did Africans in general participate in the slave trade. Cedric got his ass whooped. I was one that said, no, it was forced on the Africans. So I had to get my ass whooped. I conceded, and we grew, we understood, and it made sense. Humans were humaning all over the planet at the same time. Human was the technology of the time. That would be expected. End of discussion, we can move on. But this is why pseudo killers do what they do. Make things fundamental and based on a methodology, and leave your emotions at the door and leave things in its proper perspective.
For sure. I studied the human plight. Like I want to get together, do a Sunday show on goddamn, just farming. You know what I'm saying? Like, and just because it's important to like understanding Homo sapiens sapien. I think it lays out too probably some of the issues that why Egypt may have been so at some point sometimes oppressive to Nubia, being that they were pastoralists. But when you go through that history, you start looking at the type of psychology that comes with pastoralism versus agriculture that you learn through evolutionary psychology. You can see that that was the war at the time: agriculture versus pastoralism versus hunter-gatherers. And the hunter-gatherer was pretty much wiped out and pushed to the outskirts. You know what I'm saying? While the pastoralism and semi-nomadic herding was, because they're fighting over land. Once agriculture starts to develop, people start blocking off large chunks of land and not, not allowing, and they're more restricted in their movements.
Access to water.
Yeah, these wars start to have, start to bear out. Go ahead.
But so even before that, like, we need to be having a show as far as like what did we talk about the last time when we were talking about beliefs? How Homo
religion
sapien, like we are hardwired to have this kind of notion of belief, and how that helped develop some of our like cognitive developments and things like that. Like, I think we should start somewhere there and then move forward, because all that has to do with like evolutionary, development and process. You know what I'm saying? Because we
can do with that.
It's a process and a training to develop a skeptical mind. It's not innate. It's not innate in human nature to be skeptical. We want to believe. It is the easiest way to have complete explanations and definite answers. So skepticism is not innate. Asking question, applying science is not innate. That's why, because science is counterintuitive. Everybody thinks that science consistently confirms. No, science is consistently trying to prove what we know wrong, and is always in investigating the unknown. That is what really science is about. So it's all counterintuitive, and it's a training and an exercise to develop that mindset.
Exactly. But,
Right. That'll be very. I think that'll be a good show. Because I think we get honed in on the your brain being hardwired to believe. But there's a lot of things your brains are hardwired to for that play a significant role. You know what I mean? Cause and effect, correlation to causation. We're hardwired for confirmation bias, stereotypes. All these things that are innate within us that were crucial to our survival. Because when you understand that the civilization is new to Homo sapiens history, it's only like 5% about, what I'm saying, and it explains so much more. Pandemics and endemics. These all come from civilizations and being close proximity, and we can get into that and see some of the positive effects and some of the mal effects that come from agriculture. A lot of the experts, a lot of people postulate that was the worst thing for human beings, agriculture, and they think that in itself would be the dawn of our end of our existence.
Social.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, in the East too, the hunter-gatherers, like hunter-gatherers in the East, they didn't just go on the outskirts. Some of them actually became agricultural too. Some of them just came, went with the program. You know what I'm saying?
Get down and lay down. Get down and lay down.
Yeah, and you know what I'm saying, because too, you know what I'm saying, when agriculture came in, like the hunter gatherers they was dealing with, they already was wild grain collectors. They already Proto-Afro-Asiatic speakers or Northern Afro-Asiatic speakers anyway. So they already, you know, so had similar culture. You know what I'm saying, for us what's going on in Northeast Africa, and then in Sudan you had agro-pastoralists. You had some people that was agriculturalists with Surcom. You had some people that adopted pastoralism or whatever.
Right. And they end up, and a lot of times they end up beefing because sometimes that shit is, you know, counter the other one.
Yeah, you cut up back to the water. You put up a big fence. You got grain growing. I can't get to the water, or your cattle pass and tear up my pastures.
Or they stealing it. Or they trying to take it. Or they trying to steal it.
Yeah,
trying to break them in. Yeah. You know,
like one of the points, like one of the studies that I saw when because I like snakes, right? And it was a study about why people, if you put 10 people in a room and you put a snake in, 9 people are hardwired. That means a chemical and a mental process automatically triggers a fear to the snakes. And they say it goes back to that hardwired a survival mechanism that evolved over time. So people are innately afraid of snakes. Like, it's just a scientific fact. 9 out of 10. Biologically hardwired.
That's interesting.
Yeah, man. I think all of it's it's deep. It's deep. And you get into it's so much I can't even get into in one show, man. It gets into everything. It goes into the medicine. You understand why diabetes run through us now versus in the past. Like, all that shit plays out, man. There's so much information that you get from that you know what I mean. Like, it's a pretty deep study with a lot of information in it. You know what I mean, in terms of evolutionary psychology and shit like that, evolutionary medicine, all of that. You know what I mean?
We see 80%, like 20% of what we see is actually our brain filling in the blanks, because there's a certain percentage of our side vision that when we're looking forward that we can't actually see, but our brain fills that stuff in. Some of these articles and documentaries on the brain is just amazing. Like,
yeah, I've seen that. I've also seen the cooperation of human. You know how we have the whites in the eyes, and when you look at the chimps, they don't have the whites; they just have the brown eyes. And they was postulating that the whites in the eyes come from cooperation, and the whites in the eyes allow us that when we look a certain way, the other people can see which way we're looking, and they can help us ascertain what we all run from danger.
Man, no, fuck that. I'm gonna be disruptive. We got to finish the conversation though. Like, when y'all gonna talk about the deification of the Mediterranean? Because that's what I'm trying to get at.
That's that chef argument.
I'm so sorry.
That's chef argument.
That's concrete, Corey.
Chef got the jewels on that.
Get off the line with that. Corey here or not? Fuck that. What we talking about? wAD-wr, whatever.
Chef got the jewels on that. I don't know what they got on there.
Yeah, whatever. Okay. I'm just saying. Y'all can relish in it now. Y'all have fun with it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, try to share with that.
Egypt is still an indigenous African's culture. Period.
Yeah,
it is, but we can't get caught up on Mediterranean just being Southern Europe. Your Mediterranean, it goes around in a circle. Parts of South, Northern Africa is still the Mediterranean. It's a full circle sea. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, it
is. Like for instance, like Egypt.
Let him make his point. Go ahead, go.
Just like for instance, Egypt. So without Egypt, you won't even have Mediterranean culture. They parented it. You know what I'm saying? You get flatbread and some of the cuisines from Egyptian culture, which make it a Mediterranean. Even the other groups that's around, they all carry the same signatures and markers, E3B markers. They come from the interior of Africa, but the Berbers got them same markers too, and so does other people on the other side of the other Mediterranean. So you know what I'm saying? Part of the Mediterranean is still part of Africa. You know what I'm saying? Even they call it confluence. You're Africa. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So in other words, you can have indigenous Africans who are just who are Mediterranean, because part of Africa is in the Mediterranean. So they can
since 9500 BC. Even the climate shift of Mediterranean flora and fauna shifted all the way to southern Egypt, and then from southern Egypt you get the African tropical steppes. You know what I'm saying? You can even get the type of Mediterranean crops all the way to the south, to the northern Red Sea area.
Right. Yeah, that's why we gotta do a whole show on that. Because sometimes we touch on it in pieces, but it's not enough to tease out the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? I think Chef was saying once we laid off that Mesopotamia arguments, everybody be quiet on chill mode. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but just like how Unc was saying, how Unc used that Brooklyn Museum article, he said, he say some of the culture came from the west of Egypt. Well, shit, the western Egypt is the Mediterranean steppe.
Exchange happened due to trade. We're fully aware. We're aware. People be peopling. We're fully aware.
Right, I'm running with that.
We're fully aware, but it still is what it is. And I ain't rocking with that Mesopotamia source. Y'all can have that shit. It's gotta be a little bit better and stronger. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna be blackologist and biased for now until it's overwhelmingly proved otherwise. This is nothing. Personally,
that's what you're hardwired to do, did you? I ain't mad at you.
As you know what I do. It is what it is.
Yeah, that's what you're hardwired to do. You know
that's what I'm hardwired to do. Goddamn right. But thank y'all for coming or joining. It seemed like somebody got to rap over dead air, and we ain't about to do that. So, you know.
Yeah, Chef the host. I don't know if Chef dropped the link. Chef dropped the link. See if anybody else want to jump in.
Right.
Anybody else want to jump in? You know what I'm saying? I think Smash can put his presentation.
You want to call me a blackologist, or anybody want to tell me that autodidactism is a ism, because I can call myself an autodidact in terms of animal behavioralist, because I actually studied animal behavior programs and methodologies and went through the different university programs. That's why I can train from wild birds to my turtles, to dogs, to reptiles. I can train it all. So I'm an autodidact myself. So I'm going to write a new book saying that you now need to train turtles by spinning them on their back. And because I wrote a book, because I spin turtles on their back, I contributed to the body of information. Don't argue with me. Because Elon Musk is an autodidact that only hires experts. So he ain't hiring none of us over here. No matter how much autodidact we think we be. And while reading the article,
I ain't watching that. Say that.
You know what was funny? When you read an article, and the moment that somebody pauses, that they realize, oh shit, I just read that. And then they gather themselves and they continue reading as if they didn't just read. That most autodidacts are versed and trained and qualified in another area of expertise. Having worked in that field for 20 years, they have amassed an meta ability to analyze information and process it in real time. AKA Elon Musk, having 2 degrees, master's degrees, and dropped out of a PhD program. Man, how can you boomerang dagger yourself? I say again, you have comprehension issues, son. Slow down. come see me. Don't try slap me, though. Just sit down. I know you got that issue. But stop embarrassing yourself. Stop. Stop, son.
Yeah.
Stop it. You made yourself look like, and the way you felt defeated at the end of your own choice, like, I don't want y'all to get hung up on what Elon Musk and the fact that he hires people with expertise doesn't stop you from trying to overturn science, because you know the autodidacts that we mentioned in science, they were from a century ago. Because in science today, you ain't overturning nothing unless you can make a hadron collider, dude. And it takes countries to put one together. So no reading and preparing amount of essays that you do, or you should have been doing in high school, can make you be able to overturn the scientific consensus. And as Elon Musk does, he relies on the experts. So over here, from now on, we're going to rely on the experts. And with that, I'm done. Clones. Clones. Come slap me. Clones.
I ain't watch. I ain't even see it to critique it. We're gonna leave that right there, right there where it is.
Hurry up and close up the show. Okay.
All right. Yeah, man. Like I said, somebody drop the link in the chat if nobody else want to jump on. We're gonna wrap it up.
Good show.
Them sources got. I've never seen the panel this peaceful after some contentious sources. I kind of feel like we. I kind of feel like we up. I kind of feel like we up. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's a good time to get off the court. Like Chef said, when somebody sprained an ankle. You feel me?
So why you do that? Why you do that? Why you do that for?
Chef the host, though. Chef the host, so we can't end the show. Chef gotta end the show. Oh, I can't. I thought we close out the stand screen that was be on.
Whatever y'all celebrating, I damn sure missed it. I must have came late.
How y'all? Everybody miss it.
See, I want them to sleep good at night. So I need y'all.
How everybody miss it once we popping champagne and give out the MVP. They weren't on the court. Like they didn't get dunked on multiple times.
You gotta go, but you gotta get the hell there. No?
Y'all know how it works, right?
Party.
Y'all know how it work. Y'all know how it work. It go like this. Y'all make a claim. Y'all go to sleep feeling good. Then you wake up in the morning and get that shit right. So y'all got like 12 hours to feel good. 12. I'm gonna watch the show, and in the morning we'll address
it.
He Smash. Hey, Smash. Like what they talking about?
I missed it, bro.
Oh, they forgot that I actually won the conversation. Because what I said was, you read the source. I said, you read the source, right? The source started talking about all these types of influences and shit. I said, but what you will never find, right, is that Mesopotamia is influenced by Egypt. I said it always goes in one direction. There's a reason. There's a biblical narrative to this. There's a racial narrative to this. I said, even when I can show you trading seals with language, with writing, being older, you know what I'm saying, in Egypt, they will never say it. I said, is it alphabet? Is it the alphabet? Well, E comes before M. Why is it when they say the origins of civilization, it's always Mesopotamia first? And they never interchange it. I said, I challenge you, Sosa, to find that source with Mesopotamia where they say that, yeah, Egypt influenced Mesopotamia. I said, then go find that source when they say that Nubia influenced Egypt. They never do it. And I said, it's right in front of your face. And they went right and looked it up. And guess what they said? Egypt had no influence on Mesopotamia. So I just got off at that point because I proved my point. Now, when I come back with the heavy hitters, demolishing y'all niggas, because y'all got some 1993 sources, 2009 sources with some crabs in the barrel, y'all done. So I'm just enjoying this victory. Y'all think y'all won, but you've actually proved my point. You know how we do it, Smash.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the writing, but you still haven't shown that, it doesn't matter. We talked about the writing. Okay, they had the cylinder seals first, but did those cylinder seals make it to Mesopotamia and influence their writing? Are you making that claim?
I'm not. I refuse to make a claim like that. I don't think the Egyptian pyramids influenced pyramid building around the world. As a matter of fact, I know that there's no pyramids nowhere but in Egypt. See, I understand that. See, my A game is my A game. My study game is my study game. Remember, that's all I got. I read the experts. I don't claim to be an expert. Trust me.
We're talking about influence, though. I'm saying you brought up the writing.
Right? I didn't say that. I didn't say Egypt writing influenced nobody. That's Reggie and them saying that crazy shit. I don't say that. Human beings have the same capacity no matter where they go. They don't need Africans to influence them with anything. They're a fair culture. If you're a superpower and you have enough sway, there's gonna be influences back and forth. And I always give the example. Although you got Nissan, right, and Camry, okay, and Infinity, right, Japanese car companies, Chinese car companies, right? China helped build the fucking railroad. They built one half of the railroad going from coast to coast, right? Nobody says that China or Japan, because they trade and things they did in America, influenced the origin of it. Nobody says that. And vice versa. What they say with superpowers is they have influenced each other back and forth. Or they took these signs to do that. They never say that. There's an underlying racial component that's taken years to get out of it. And what you're looking for in front of your face with these new exhibits, right, is they go around the country, right? You'll see them putting Africa, one, back in the Nile Valley, right? Smash talked about the Oriental Institute. That's your man Breasted, right? Breasted with the invading race theory, the Mesopotamians. They're still holding on to that in small and slight and subtle ways. So I understand how disciplines work. It'll just take, once the other Egyptologists die the fuck out, and the new, young, well-studied, more material, more understanding of ancient civilizations come through, they'll completely put Egypt back in this African context, bro. So I'm sitting back enjoying myself. It's the golden age of scholarship.
I feel you. So we're gonna wait, but we're still waiting for y'all to present the influence in the other direction. That's we waiting for that.
Why would that have to be a point? So we're gonna act like Egypt didn't rule the Mediterranean?
No, well, we knew when they ruled the Mediterranean, but we know how far extended in certain time periods.
So think about it.
We know that the Mesopotamia died out at 1750, and even before that, those Sumerians had an unstable political shit even before that. So once, you know what I'm saying? So Egypt reigned a couple thousand years after that shit was really significant. You feel me?
No, I'm saying, think about, how do they rule the Mediterranean and not influence motherfuckers?
Yo, when did they?
That sound crazy. Y'all read and said.
When did they rule the Mediterranean? When did they rule the Mediterranean?
Come on, bro. They got a whole book called "When Egypt Ruled the East."
Yeah, give me a time frame. I'm asking.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Just guess. I ain't gonna hold you to.
During the modern period, during the lifespan of Akhenaten, during like the 18th, 19th, even probably 18th, 19th.
What day was that? What was that range around?
You gonna give for 18th dynasty about 1500 something?
Yeah. See, Sumerians, they're gone. They're gone at that point. They're dead.
No. You see the trick, Smash?
The civilization was from 4100 BC.
No, you see the trick? See the trick?
No, I'm saying.
See, when Chef yelled out Mesopotamia, I said, yo, it's not a culture, it's not a civilization called Mesopotamia, it's called Sumer. And there's other cultures in that area.